Chapter 533. Invisibility Pearl. Zhou Tiangang suddenly thought of this treasure. He stared at a middle-aged man in black next to him, but I gave it to Zhou Wen. This treasure should be with you, right? This man in black was Zhou Wen, Zhou Hao's father. Plop. When Zhou Wen heard this, he immediately knelt on the ground in fright. He kowtowed repeatedly and said, "I'm sorry, ancestor. It is my fault for not teaching him properly. I only just found out about this matter. My son, Zhou Hao, actually stole the invisible pearl I left at home and secretly went to Savage Forest to adventure. What about your son, Zhou Hao? Where is he now?" Zhou Tiangang asked. Zhou Wen shook his head. "I can't contact him. His communication devices are all broken. I can't even contact the people around him. He disappeared into Savage Forest with Zhou Bin." He clenched his fists. "Ancestor, we suspect that Zhou Bin and the others were killed by a mysterious person." A Zhou family elder guessed, then that mysterious person obtained the invisibility pearl and snuck into Silver Dragon City to steal the Silver Dragon King's treasure. In the end, this bastard is despicable and shameless. He framed us and made us take the blame. What? Hearing this, Zhou Tiangang's eyes widened, and his body emitted an endless murderous aura. All of a sudden, a huge crater appeared on the ground. Several of the Zhou family's elders around him were shaken by this force and smashed into the wall one after another. "You said that mysterious person not only killed our Zhou family's elites and stole our Zhou family's secret treasure, but also caused us to fall into such a state." Zhou Tiangang clenched his teeth. "Our Zhou family is in such a miserable state. It can be said that we've lost all our assets because of that mysterious person framing us? This is too much." He was so angry that his whole body was trembling. One had to know that this disaster had simply fallen from the sky. Because of this, their Zhou family not only lost Zhou Bin and the other elites, but also lost a secret treasure like the invisibility pearl. They even lost more than half of their assets. It could be said to be a heavy loss. But their Zhou family was in such a miserable state because of that mysterious person. Just thinking about how the mysterious figure was still at large, obtaining a large number of the Silver Wyrm King's treasures, and even mocking their Zhou clan in secret, they were on the verge of going insane. "You must find the bastard who framed my Zhou family. After you find him, don't kill him so quickly. Take your time." Zhou Tiangang gritted his teeth, and a murderous aura burst out from between his teeth. The other elders of the Zhou clan also clenched their fists tightly. Their eyes were all bloodshot. If that mysterious being appeared in front of them, they would definitely pounce on it and tear it into pieces. At this moment, in a cave in the Savage Forest, Xia Ping sat on the ground with a large amount of water moon grass placed in front of him. Ever since he spread the rumor on the internet and framed the Silver Wyrm King, he had ignored it. He knew that no matter how the Zhou clan struggled, they would not be able to escape the wrath of the Silver Serpent King. He also used this time to refine the large amount of time grass he had obtained from Silverworm City to increase his cultivation. Rumble immediately, Xia Ping revolved the solar furnace in his body and refined the water moon grass, transforming it into coldine energy that flowed into his limbs and bones, fusing into every single cell in his body. The power of water and fire, the power of the sun and moon, fused with each other, reaching the realm of complementing water and fire, forming a balance of yin and yang in his body. After an unknown period of time, Xia Ping felt the true energy in his body increasing crazily. It almost filled up his dantian, as if it was about to overflow. Bang bang bang. The true energy was like water, crazily surging through his meridians. When the true energy in his body reached its limit, the liquid rushed in all directions, breaking through one meridian after another. Dong! At this moment, when the 49th meridian was broken, Xia Ping felt his body tremble, emitting a sound like that of a tiger or leopard's thunder. His muscles and bones sounded together. Fifth heavenly layer of martial master. He immediately knew that he had advanced to the fifth heavenly layer of martial master. He had cleared 49 meridians, forming 4 true energy cycles in his body, and emitting a mysterious and tyrannical aura. At this moment, 2 or 3 hell golden crow cells in his body awakened. They were immediately refined by the true energy, transforming into a large amount of life energy that flowed into every single cell in his body. What a strong force! Xia Ping clenched his fists. He could feel that his strength had been strengthened a step further. It was more than 30 to 40% stronger than before. With a punch, the air exploded continuously. This punch could kill an enemy even if they were 5 to 6 kilometers away. The strength of my mental energy has also increased. Xia Ping closed his eyes. He could also feel that his mental energy had been greatly enhanced. It spread out in all directions, as though he could see through everything. Even the dust in the air, the ants crawling on the ground, and the flies and mosquitoes flying in the distance were all clearly under the control of his mental energy. Most probably, even if he was blind now, with the strength of his mental energy, he would still be able to walk freely. Bang! At this moment, Xia Ping stood up. The aura from his body fluctuated, causing the entire mountain peak to tremble. The rocks in the surroundings were all shaken by this aura. He took a step forward and was as fast as a gust of wind. In an instant, he appeared outside the cave. Because of the great increase in mental energy, his technique of controlling true energy seemed to have become more exquisite than before. His understanding of martial arts techniques had also become deeper. Boom! Xia Ping's feet stomped on the ground and he immediately jumped up, instantly causing the ground to collapse and a huge crater to appear. His feet generated an extremely strong propulsion force as he jumped to the top of a small mountain. He was now like a ferocious beast in human form. Every move he made contained great power. It could be said that even if Xia Ping met an ordinary 7th-layer martial master expert, he would be able to kill him. This kind of strength was enough to rival a high-ranked martial master. As expected of the water moon grass. It actually helped me break through several meridians consecutively and advance to the 5th-layer martial master in one go. Xia Ping clenched his fists. If I can refine all these water moon grass, I might be able to advance to the 6th-layer martial master or the 7th-layer martial master very quickly. It might even be possible for me to advance to the peak of the 9th-layer martial master. It could be said that he had gained a lot this time. During this period of time, he didn't need to go out to look for resources. Just these water moon grass alone was enough for him to cultivate for a long time. Right now, the Silver Dragon City is in a state of martial law. There are Silver Dragon King subordinates patrolling the surroundings. The savage forest is already a place of trouble. It is no longer suitable for me to take the risk and cultivate. I'd better return to Yanhuang University first. Xia Ping's eyes flickered. He had already been out for about a month. It was time for him to make a trip back to Yanhuang University. Chapter 534. Whoosh! A spaceship was speeding in the sky, flying towards Yanhuang University, and Xia Ping was also sitting on the spaceship, resting comfortably, looking out the window at the scenery. Ding! The system's voice came out. Congratulations to the host, this time you have received 15 million hatred points. 15 million hatred points? Xia Ping clenched his fists, and his face was very excited. In addition to what he had obtained before, he had a total of 45 million hatred points, which was a huge sum of money. Sure enough, it was still the king who got the most hatred points, but it was very dangerous. Once the king knew his true identity, he might be in big trouble and be hunted down by the king. But now it seemed that the gain was still greater than the effort. Host. The system said, if the hatred points reach 100 million, you will get a system gift pack. I hope the host can work harder and achieve the achievement of getting 100 million hatred points as soon as possible. System gift pack. Hearing this, Xia Ping immediately became excited. He remembered how powerful the system gift pack was. It was not a treasure that could be measured by a small amount of hatred points. He remembered that the first big gift pack was the pure young immortal art. The second big gift pack was to reach 1 million hatred points, and the system gave him the Hell Golden Crow bloodline. Every item on it was priceless, enough to make countless martial artists crazy. If he got 100 million hatred points and also got the system gift pack, he really didn't know what kind of treasure the system would give him. Maybe even the king would have a heart attack. However, the system didn't seem to have any rules to the big gift pack. When he got 10 million hatred points, the system didn't give him a big gift pack. It was probably because he didn't meet some requirements of the system. I must get 100 million hatred points. This time I want to see what the system gift pack is. Xia Ping clenched his fists, feeling very excited. A few days later, the spaceship returned to the elite area of Yanhuang University and landed in Xia Ping's villa in the elite area. When Xia Ping just returned to his villa, he received a call from Fatty Feng Hatang. With a beep, Xia Ping immediately connected and asked, "What's the matter?" "Big brother, something big has happened. There are monster bastards coming to Yanhuang University. They want to deal with you." Feng Hatang shouted in a hurry, his voice was loud and his tone was urgent. "Monster bastards? What does that mean?" Xia Ping blinked, not understanding what Feng Hatang meant. Feng Hatang said in surprise, "Big brother, don't tell me you don't know." A few days ago, the myriad demon mountain seemed to have sent some geniuses from the demon race to Yanhuang University. It seemed like they wanted to hold some kind of genius exchange. They said they wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to learn together and strengthen the communication between the human race and the demon race. But the truth is that they are simply here to demonstrate their might. They want to use this opportunity to intimidate us humans. Genius exchange? Xia Ping expressed that he was not aware of this matter, because he had been outside for the past few days and had even cultivated in seclusion for a few days. Naturally, he did not know what had happened at Yanhuang University. Just the day before yesterday. Feng Hatang gritted his teeth and said, "Those so-called demon race prodigies are competing with us Yanhuang University students under the guise of learning from each other. They say they want to learn together and hope the human race can give them pointers. But in reality, they were more ruthless than anyone else. They beat our Yanhuang University people up very badly. One by one, they were sent to the hospital for emergency treatment, and some people are still in the hospital. The most despicable thing is that these demon race prodigies seem to know about our leveling heaven gate. They know about Big Brother, so they've purposefully approached us to teach us a lesson. In the end, many of our people have been injured." He gritted his teeth. He was very angry. What? Hearing this, a cold glint appeared in Xia Ping's eyes. The Leveling Heaven Gate was a martial arts organization that he had established. The members of the Leveling Heaven Gate were equivalent to his people. As the saying went, one had to look at the master before beating a dog. These demon race prodigies were purposefully targeting the Leveling Heaven Gate, which meant that they were targeting him. They wanted to slap him in the face. Their intentions were very obvious. As for why these demon race prodigies were targeting him, it probably had something to do with him killing Scorpion 13. He, a mere human, had killed a demon king's descendant. No matter how one looked at it, it was a slap in the face for the demon race. Perhaps this matter had made some demon race prodigies unhappy with Xia Ping and wanted to find trouble with him. All of a sudden, Feng Hatang shouted loudly, "Big brother, those demon race prodigies seem to have logged onto our school forum and are provoking us." Xia Ping's eyes flickered. He immediately entered the school forum and saw a post. There seemed to be a 4 to 5 minute video posted. With a snap, he immediately opened the video and saw a young monster that looked like a mouse fighting with a student from Yanhuang University on a training ground. However, the student was badly beaten. His face was swollen, and his head was bleeding. He was no match for the young demon at all. In the end, he fell to the ground and was sent to the hospital by the medical staff. This is too much. A cold glint appeared in Xia Ping's eyes. He could tell that the demon was doing this on purpose. It clearly had an overwhelming advantage, but it did not give the student a fatal blow. Its goal was to prolong the battle and torture and tease the student. In the end, the student's injuries were extremely serious. He had already been sent for emergency treatment and would need at least a month to recover. This is too much. He's clearly about to lose, but he's still torturing his opponent. This isn't a friendly spar. If it wasn't for the teacher, he would have been crippled long ago. Those demons are too much. We have to condemn them. How dare they behave atrociously in our human territory? Aren't they looking down on us too much? All the students of Yanhuang University were in an uproar after seeing this video. All of them were furious and thought that the demon was too much. It was deliberately beating and torturing a student of Yanhuang University in their human territory. This was clearly a provocation and a humiliation. It was too unscrupulous. Too much. How is this too much? The one who spoke was the demon in the video. Its name was Shu Wulang, and it was one of the demon race prodigies. It had also deliberately posted this video. It sneered on the forum and said in an extremely arrogant tone, "We came all the way from Wanya Mountain to the holy land of human martial arts. We thought we could find some opponents, get some pointers, and learn something. However, we didn't expect these opponents to be so weak and vulnerable. They were crippled in just a few moves." Chapter 535. All the students of Yanhuang University were enraged by his words. How was that an apology? Every sentence was filled with sarcasm, as if it was saying that it wasn't wrong at all. The fault was that its opponent was too weak, so weak that it couldn't withstand a single blow even if it showed mercy. Shu Wulang's arrogance was obvious. He was high and mighty, looking down on the people of Yanhuang University. Damn it! How can this monster be so arrogant? It's just a mouse. This isn't an ordinary mouse. It's a weasel monster that can spray hallucinogenic poisonous gas. Once the enemy is infected, they will immediately hallucinate and lose half of their combat power. If it wants to, it can even spit out poison and kill its enemies in a few breaths. Indeed. It has the strength of a 5th-stage martial master. Many elite students have challenged it recently, but they were all defeated. They were beaten black and blue. They are no match for it at all. What? So many people had challenged it, and all of them had lost. No wonder it's so arrogant. Everyone's faces darkened. Even so many elite students had joined hands to challenge it, but they still lost to this mouse monster. It was not an ordinary mouse, and its strength was extraordinary. Although the mouse was arrogant, it had the right to be arrogant. What? Are you still not convinced? Shu Wulang shouted, "Come and challenge me if you have the guts. If any of you can defeat me, I will immediately call you father. If you lose, you will call me father." It provoked them directly, completely looking down on the students of Yanhuang University. Damn it! When there is no tiger in the mountain, the monkey calls itself the king. A student gritted his teeth angrily. In fact, there were some elite students who could defeat them, but now that the genius battle was approaching, most of them had left Yanhuang University to train and improve their strength. As a result, there weren't many true experts left in Yanhuang University, which was why these demons were able to strut around and run amok in Yanhuang University. After all, no one had expected these monsters to choose this time to come. It just so happened that these monsters were able to be arrogant here. Looks like humans are all a bunch of cowardly bandits. None of them are capable. They don't even dare to challenge us. Then why are you still alive? Why don't you just die? Shu Wulang laughed heartily and was very proud of himself. It was a rare opportunity to humiliate the human race's pride. If he went back to the demon race's encampment now, he would be able to brag about it for the rest of his life. Shu Wulang, don't talk nonsense here. The human race still has experts. It's just that they haven't been born yet. The one who spoke was a fire wolf demon called Wolf Seven Blades. It was also one of the prodigies of this group of demons. Its strength was tyrannical, and its cultivation was at the sixth firmament of martial master. So that's how it is. The experts haven't been born yet, so they can't be blamed. Indeed, you can't blame them. After all, these humans have been practicing martial arts for less than 1,000 years. How can they be compared with the hundreds of thousands of years of history of our demon race? Isn't this making things difficult for them? However, Patriarch had us come here to find human warriors to exchange pointers with, hoping to receive some pointers from them. Looks like that plan has fallen through. We can only come here to sightsee. This place of humans is not bad as a tourist attraction. It's suitable for them to invent and create things. However, if they want to compare their martial arts with the demon race, they will probably have to develop for another 10,000 years. They don't have any talent and their bodies are weak, yet they want to compare with our demon race. I don't know where they get their face from. Don't they know what shame is? Humans have nothing else, but their skin is a bit thick. Sometimes, even wolf claws can't penetrate it. This is their talent. Our demon race can't compare with them. Shu Wulang and Wolf Seven Blades spoke one after another, echoing each other and constantly mocking the human warriors. Their expressions were very disdainful, and they didn't put the students of Yanhuang University in their eyes at all. They thought that they could defeat them easily. Some of the demon race's pride also sneered. These words were also what they were thinking. In fact, this time, they didn't come to the human race's martial arts sacred land to learn, but to intimidate the humans and let them know that their demon race's martial arts were tyrannical. If they could take this opportunity to humiliate the human students of this martial arts sacred land, when they return to the demon race's encampment, they would definitely receive a lot of rewards and become famous. Damn it, is there no one who can deal with this group of demons? They actually let these bastards strut around in our territory. Some students clenched their fists, their hearts filled with anger. If they had the strength, they would definitely all rush up and beat these demons half to death, making them all shut up and know how powerful humans were. However, these demon races' pride were too strong. All of them had the strength of a martial master. Furthermore, they were very talented. Human warriors of the same level were no match for them at all. Previously, there were some students who were unconvinced, but now, they were all beaten up. That's right, wasn't there a very famous human before? I think he's called Xia Ping. Shu Wulang suddenly thought of something and shouted, I heard that even Scorpion 13 was killed by him, almost causing a war between the human race and the demon race. Where did this brat go? Why didn't he come out to fight? Could it be that he's afraid? One of their reasons for coming here was to deal with this human, Xia Ping. Only by defeating this human could the demon race quell the negative effects of Scorpion 13's death. This time, they wanted to prove that the demon race's pride could kill a human's pride as easily as drinking water, as easily as stepping on an ant. How could he not be afraid? I reckon that he used a trap to kill Scorpion 13. If we really fight, I can kill 10 of such humans without taking a breather. It's not that I'm boasting, but if that human dares to come out, I'll beat the shit out of him in minutes. With such a big commotion, that human Xia Ping doesn't even dare to make a sound. He's definitely scared shitless and knows that he's a fake, so he doesn't dare to make a sound. He wants to compete with us, the demon race. I reckon that human also knows that his chances of winning are not high, so he went into hiding. However, this is also good. In the future, that brat can just tuck his tail between his legs and behave. Don't casually stand out, or else he won't know how to write the word death. The group of demons laughed loudly. It seemed that if they met the human Xia Ping, they could kill him in seconds. Interesting. He actually dares to provoke me. It's been a long time since I've seen such reckless demons. Xia Ping clenched his fists, and his eyes revealed a glimmer of light. He felt that this was an opportunity. If he could thoroughly humiliate these demon races' pride, he would definitely gain a lot of hatred. There were many benefits, and he could also beat up the demons and exercise his muscles. Chapter 536. As soon as Xia Ping's post was posted, it immediately caused an uproar on the internet. No way, Xia Ping really accepted the challenge? How can he beat him? This kid has just reached the martial master realm not long ago. How can he be a match for Xu Wulang? I guess he fell for those monsters' provocation. He's too young and aggressive. This is bad, this is bad. This time, Xia Ping will definitely be beaten up badly. He might even be humiliated. So many elite students have been defeated by Xu Wulang. Can't he see it clearly? He doesn't even know the difference in strength between the two sides, yet he foolishly accepted the challenge. Isn't he asking to be humiliated? Many students were dumbfounded. They did not expect Xia Ping to accept Xu Wulang's challenge. After all, everyone could see that Xia Ping was goading Xu Wulang into accepting the challenge. His goal was to provoke Xia Ping into accepting the challenge. The problem was, no matter how talented Xia Ping was, he was just a young man who had just reached the martial master realm not long ago. How could he beat those monsters who had reached the martial master realm long ago? If he was given some time to cultivate, they believed that it would not be a problem for him to defeat these monsters. But now, it seemed that it was too early. When the other monsters saw the post, they all sneered. Stupid, too stupid. This is the human who killed Scorpion 13. I didn't expect to overestimate him. A simple provocation made him so angry. If he is not shrewd, his future achievements will be like this. Scorpion 13 is also a piece of trash. What's so great about killing a piece of trash? He even dared to send Xu Wulang to his death. He is quite arrogant, but I don't know how powerful he is. How powerful can he be? He has just reached the martial master realm not long ago. Even if I let him fly, he won't be able to fly far. TSK, Xu Wulang is really lucky. If he can defeat Xia Ping and humiliate him, he will help us regain our dignity. I'm afraid many monster kings will be happy. When that time comes, there will be great benefits. Many monsters felt a little regretful. If they knew that the kid was so easily provoked, they would have challenged him one by one. How could they give this opportunity to Xu Wulang? But it was too late now. Xu Goro had his eyes on that human. Basically, that human was finished. When Xu Wulang saw this post, he was overjoyed. He didn't expect this human to be so stupid. He actually dared to accept his challenge. It was obvious that he was courting death. It would be stupid to refuse such a great opportunity. It immediately said, "Stupid human, I didn't expect you to agree. You have some courage. I just hope you won't run away tomorrow." It blocked Xia Ping's path of retreat. If he dared to go back on his word or run away, he would become a laughingstock, a shame that he would never be able to wash away. Run my ass. If I don't beat the shit out of you in 3 moves, I'll change my surname to yours. Xia Ping spoke on the spot. Immediately, the crowd was in an uproar. They felt that Xia Ping was too arrogant. He wanted to beat a martial master like Xu Wulang in 3 moves. Who did he think he was? The evil Xu Wulang was also a prodigy of the demon race. He had inherited the Weasel King's bloodline and was the descendant of a king. He had all kinds of innate abilities and was extremely powerful. More than a dozen elite students from Yanhuang University went up to challenge him, but they were all sent to the hospital. It showed that Xu Wulang's strength was not comparable to ordinary human martial artists. It was not an exaggeration to say that he was invincible among his peers. But now, this kid said that he could defeat Xu Wulang in 3 moves. It was really looking down on him. Xu Wulang, are you being looked down upon by humans now? If we don't teach this human a lesson, will our demon race still have any face? A group of demon prodigies added fuel to the fire and sneered. Xu Wulang suddenly became furious. You want to defeat me in 3 moves? Arrogant human, I'd like to see how you're going to defeat me in 3 moves tomorrow. His heart was full of anger, and he almost exploded. A little human dared to boast shamelessly, saying that he could beat the shit out of him in 2 or 3 moves. This time, if he didn't beat this damn human Xia Ping until half of his body was paralyzed, he wouldn't be Shu Wulang. Big brother. Feng Hetang also knew about this, and he was very worried. This Shu Wulang is not a good monster. He already has the cultivation of the 5th heaven of martial master. Before, many elite students went up to challenge him, but they were easily defeated by him. It's just a mouse, I can kill it with 1 slap. Xia Ping said lightly. As expected of big brother. Feng Hetang immediately had a feeling of admiration for Xia Ping. He felt that Xia Ping's martial arts cultivation seemed to be even more unfathomable. Moreover, he was very clear about Xia Ping's character. If he didn't have absolute confidence, how could he make a move? It seemed that this so-called Shu Wulang was bound to be unlucky this time. The next day, in the elite training ground, this was a wide square. At this time, this square was densely packed with elite students, and there were also hundreds of demon prodigies on the opposite side. The 2 sides stood opposite each other, clearly separated, confronting each other. Even some Grandmaster-level school teachers and demon race teachers came. They watched the battle from the side, and at the same time, they prevented a huge conflict between the 2 sides, causing uncontrollable consequences. Xia Ping is here. Suddenly, a group of people shouted. Suddenly, a group of people immediately looked over, only to see a young man walking over, bare-handed, seemingly without any aura on his body. He just came to this training ground like this. And this person was Xia Ping. Finally here. I thought you would run away. Shu Wulang also walked out of a group of monsters, staring at Xia Ping with a gloomy face. After a night, the anger in his heart not only did not subside, but also became more and more vigorous. Today, in front of everyone, he wanted to beat this so-called human Xia Ping until half of his body was paralyzed, and even beat him until he knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. Run away. Do you think I will be afraid of a mouse? Xia Ping waved his hand and said carelessly, Come over, let me teach you the true meaning of martial arts, but whether you can learn anything or not depends on your ability. After all, it's useless to teach a monster with poor aptitude. This is called mud can't help a wall. He revealed the appearance of a generation's grandmaster, completely like a senior giving advice to a junior. Shut up. Shu Wulang couldn't stand this shameless human for another second. This guy's mouth was even more poisonous than his own gas. If he continued to let him talk like this, he was afraid that he would faint before the battle even started. Boom. Chapter 537. So strong. Everyone was shocked. Looking at Shu Wulang's punch, they were all shocked. This monster was indeed a monster. His strength was definitely not something to brag about. With a punch, the fist energy shot out and condensed into a substance. The air vibrated. This kind of power was almost no less than that of some human warriors who were born with divine strength. Even a huge rock would be smashed into powder. However, Shu Wulang's original body was a weasel. He was not good at strength, but such a casual punch had such tyrannical power. One could totally imagine how terrifying his opponent was. It was no wonder that Shu Wulang had defeated many elite students before. Too weak. Xia Ping took a step forward. His whole body vibrated. Qigong revolved, and a tyrannical Qigong burst out from his fist. It was as if a divine dragon had descended, and a series of explosions occurred around his body. Dong! His fist fiercely smashed towards Shu Wulang. It was like a flood bursting a dam. It was unknown how many times more tyrannical than Shu Wulang's strength. Even the strong wind brought by the fist seemed to condense at this moment, turning into astral wind. Due to the turbulence of the air currents, terrifying cracks suddenly appeared on the ground. The surrounding demons and elite students retreated, afraid that they would be affected by the shockwaves. What? Shu Wulang was inexplicably shocked. He never thought that this human was so terrifying. His strength alone was no less than that of the Elephant Clan, which was famous for their strength. Legend had it that when the Elephant Clan reached adulthood, they had the power to uproot the mountains and fill the seas. One step could crack the earth, and one flick could easily throw a small mountain. And this human seemed to have some of the power of the Elephant Clan. With a bang, Shu Wulang's fist collided with Xia Ping's fist energy. However, in just a second, his fist energy was instantly smashed into pieces. Its entire body was sent flying by the force, and it slid on the ground for dozens of meters, leaving a deep crack on the ground. The tyrannical fist force had injured its lungs, and it almost couldn't help but spit out blood. Impossible. Shu Wulang stood in the same place and looked at Xia Ping in horror. It seemed that he couldn't believe his eyes. Didn't they say that you are only in the third sky of Martial Master realm? What is going on now? With such quintessential essence, he is at least a fifth-layer Martial Master. He had previously investigated a lot of information about Xia Ping and knew that this human was at most a third heaven of Martial Master. But now, this kid had actually advanced to the fifth heaven of Martial Master. He was many times stronger than before. That was more than a month ago. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, his tone indifferent. A month ago. Hearing this, not only the heaven's favorites of the demon race, even the elite students present were so depressed that they wanted to vomit blood. These words were far too arrogant. Ordinary people would have to spend a lot of time and effort to advance to the next heavenly layer. To advance to the next heavenly layer in a year was already an incredible advancement speed. Some people would even be stuck in a bottleneck and might not be able to make any progress even after decades. But this kid had consecutively advanced 2 levels in a little over a month. His speed of improvement was terrifying to the point of being a complete mess, and it was completely illogical. What kind of elixir did you take to improve so quickly? Shu Wulang stared at Xia Ping. He clenched his fists and endured the tumbling blood in his body. He was very unwilling. Originally, he thought that he could easily defeat Xia Ping. But who would have thought that he would be beaten back with just a punch? Even his internal organs were slightly injured. It's none of your business. Xia Ping didn't want to talk nonsense with Shu Wulang at all. He blasted out a punch like a wolf or a tiger. Suddenly, the sound of tigers and leopards burst out, as if there were countless beasts roaring in the void. The surrounding martial artists' blood was boiling, and their hearts felt extremely uncomfortable. The power of this punch was even more terrifying than before. His mental power had completely locked onto Shu Wulang's aura. No matter where he escaped to, it would track him down. If you want to defeat me, this is not enough. It's not enough at all. Do you understand? Shu Wulang shouted angrily. His pair of yellow eyes revealed a trace of coldness, and it seemed that the air was filled with a strange mental fluctuation. Boom! At this moment, a large amount of yellow smoke immediately emerged from his body. In just a few breaths, the smoke spread around and surrounded the nearby square. Huh? Xia Ping frowned. He felt that the moment the yellow smoke appeared, the air suddenly smelled extremely unpleasant. The extremely spicy smell seemed to make people's ears, eyes, and mouth feel extremely uncomfortable, as if they were poisoned. Even the air was filled with a strange mental power, distorting the air and affecting his 5 senses. He suddenly lost track of Shu Wulang's whereabouts, as if he was hiding in the yellow smoke. Oh no, this is the innate poison bomb of the Weasel clan. Someone immediately shouted. Many monsters had their own bloodline innate poison bomb, and the Weasel clan could burst out the innate poison bomb at the critical moment. This was the result of the Weasel clan taking a lot of poisons, and then decomposing them, storing the poisonous gas in their body as a trump card. If the innate poison bomb burst out, it could immediately cause terrible damage to the enemy. Even some monsters with strong defensive power couldn't withstand this kind of innate poison bomb. In the past, some elite students couldn't resist this innate poison bomb, and they were immediately poisoned to the ground, waiting to be slaughtered. This was a trump card, and it was almost always successful. Jia, damn human, you can't resist the innate poison bomb of my weasel clan. Be obedient and fall to the ground. In the yellow smoke, an extremely proud voice came from all directions, trying to disturb Xiaoping's mind. Because the sky was full of yellow smoke, it was impossible to know where the weasel was hiding. Insignificant skill. Xiaoping's eyes were cold, and he operated the qigong in his body. The true elemental energy in the depths of his dantian boiled like magma, and 108,000 pores on his body emitted wisps of flames. And when these flames converged together, they instantly turned into a 3 zhang tall man made of fire, and a raging fire appeared, burning around him. These flames burned the world, and when the yellow smoke came in contact with them, it was like ice and snow coming in contact with fire, and it melted. The poisonous gas in the air was instantly burned. No matter what kind of poisonous gas, or what kind of poison, under the absolute high temperature, it would die. If there was poison that couldn't be evaporated by the fire, there was only one reason, and that was the temperature was not high enough. And Xiaoping cultivated the pure yang immortal incantation, and he absorbed the essence of the sun, and he also had the bloodline of the golden crow of hell, so the fire he condensed was enough to burn gold and iron. Chapter 538. Impossible. Suddenly, a scream came out from the yellow smoke. It was Shu Wulong's scream. In just a few breaths, the poisonous gas that burst out of his body was burned away by the flame. Nothing was left. The trump card that it was so proud of was completely useless in front of this human. My pre-celestial poison bomb is a trump card refined from 108 different poisons in the world. It took the Weasel clan 49 days to refine it. Shu Wulong stared at Xiaoping and said, "Ordinary flames have no effect on my innate poison qi bomb, let alone completely incinerate it. What kind of fire qigong did you cultivate?" It was well aware that ordinary flame energy arts wouldn't be able to incinerate its pre-heaven toxic energy bullets, much less nullify its trump card. Go ask your father. Xiaoping's eyes flashed with a hint of coldness. His pure yang immortal incantation was running inside his body. His qigong vibrated, and his tyrannical true yuan rose up. The flames in the air were distorted. No slap palm. Immediately, he slapped out with his palm. His right palm was imbued with powerful inner qi. It tore through the air like a roaring dragon, producing an incomparably ferocious power. Damn it! Shu Wulong felt a deadly threat. He quickly circulated his demon qi and set up more than a dozen layers of Zhen Yuan in front of him. These layers of Zhen Yuan were like turtles. This was the demon clan's defensive qigong, Black Tortoise Vacuum Art. It was a demon clan's qigong that imitated the turtle clan's defensive bloodline talent. Once it was used, it could resist an attack that was stronger than the user's own. Dong! In the blink of an eye, a palm slapped on Shu Wulong's qi shield. Ha, it's useless. My Black Tortoise Vacuum Art is one of the best defensive qigong in the world. Even if your strength is unparalleled, you can't penetrate my defense. Fuck, what's going on? Shu Wulong didn't wait for Shu Wulong to finish his complacency. He felt that the palm had hit his true yuan shield, and the air immediately vibrated for thousands of times, containing the power of the strongest and fiercest. It was like being hit by a violent rhinoceros. In a flash, more than 10 layers of true yuan qigong were smashed. The airflow spread in all directions. Ah! Immediately, Shu Wulong couldn't help but let out a shrill scream. His chest was hit by Xiaoping's palm, and a solid palm print immediately appeared. It flew backward for hundreds of meters before finally smashing into a concrete wall of the training ground. It immediately sank deep into the wall, cracking it and sending rubble flying in all directions. Pooh! It couldn't help but spit out a large mouthful of blood. Its internal organs were heavily injured, and even more than a dozen bones in its body were broken. It was an extremely miserable sight. Lost, Shugoro really lost. Since I said 3 moves, I'll do it. You're really not being careless. If I miss even 1 move, I'll be angry with you. Shu Wulang lost so miserably. He was simply suppressed and beaten like a dog. Even the famous defensive qigong of the demon folk, the mystic tortoise true void incantation, can't block it. This Xia Ping's palm strength is astonishing. Even the legendary dragon's subduing palm is nothing more than this. Ha, it's really fun. Before, it was arrogant and domineering, saying that Yanhuang University has no one, but now it's beaten to such a state. I want to see what it can say later. What else can it say? It can be arrogant if it wins, but it can't be stubborn if it loses. The winner is the king, and the loser is the bandit. This Xia Ping is simply abnormal. It hasn't been long since he became an elite student, but now he has such a level of strength. Many elite students watched the result of the battle, and all of them were stunned. They didn't expect that Xia Ping could really defeat Shu Wulang, and it was an overwhelming victory. Even the students who were most optimistic about Xia Ping didn't expect such a thing to happen. This bastard. A group of demon geniuses' faces were also gloomy, and they couldn't help but clench their fists. Shu Wulang was defeated, which was far beyond their expectations. It was completely different from their previous plan. And the strength of this human, Xia Ping, was a little beyond their imagination. What bullshit black tortoise vacuum technique, it's a powerful defensive qigong. Now it seems that it's simply fragile, and it can be broken with 1 palm. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, looking down at Shu Wulang who was beaten down. Shu Wulang, what else do you have to say? You're not good at learning, and you want to challenge others? Aren't you afraid of being laughed at? Now do you know how big this world is? Remember, when you meet me in the future, remember to be humble, and also bow respectfully, 3 times and 9 times. He looked at Shu Wulang with contempt. You. Shu Wulang was so angry that his face turned red, just like a cooked bun. After being scolded by Xia Ping, he felt like he had been slapped a dozen times in a row, and his face was now burning with pain. Before, he was still arrogant, and in front of everyone, he said that Xia Ping could not withstand a single blow, and he could be easily defeated. But now, he used all his skills, and even used his trump card, but he was still not the opponent of this human. He was beaten down by 1 palm, and fell to the ground, unable to move. For the arrogant Shu Wulang, this was simply an indelible shame. You? Are you still not convinced, and you want me to continue to give you pointers? Xia Ping squinted at him. If you have the guts, stand up now, this time I will let you use both of my hands. Stand up my ass. Shu Wulang was so angry that his head was a little dizzy. Now, he was seriously injured by Xia Ping, and his internal organs were severely damaged. How could he have the strength to stand up, and even the strength to speak? But this guy said that if he had the guts, he would stand up and let him use both of his hands. It was clear that he was humiliating him in public. Shu Wulang, the descendant of a king, was despised by human beings to this extent. If there was a hole in the ground, he simply could not wait to bury himself in it and never come out. Why don't you stand up? Weren't you very eloquent before? Xia Ping shouted, you said that you want to find a human warrior to give you some pointers, and now I am here, pointing out some of your shortcomings. Or you said that if you lose, you should call me father, now I want to hear it. He looked at Shu Wulang. Xia Ping. Shu Wulang shouted, and he could no longer stand it. His lungs were about to explode because of this bastard's words, and he could no longer suppress the tumbling blood in his body. With a puff, he spat out a mouthful of blood, and the ground was dyed red. Chapter 539. Go on, why aren't you shouting anymore? Your dad is waiting for you. Xia Ping said loudly, Don't think that you can escape by pretending to be unconscious. I won't fall for it. He clenched his fists and wanted to wake the unconscious Xu Wulang up. Too much. A monster stood out and glared at Xia Ping. Brother Xu is already half paralyzed by you and is unconscious. You shameless human actually want to wake him up again. Do you still have any humanity? He was Xu Wulang's good brother, Wolf Seven Blades. Previously, on the forum, the two of them had cooperated very well. Now that he saw Xu Wulang being bullied like this, of course he had to stand out. That's right, Brother Xu has already lost. What else do you want to do? Are you humans so despicable and shameless that you like to bully the injured? He's already unconscious and you still want to wake Brother Xu up. Where are your human morals? Where did your conscience go? Was it eaten by a dog? If you want to bully Brother Xu, you have to go through us first. Many monsters stared at Xia Ping angrily. They were so angry that they were about to explode. This was going too far. Facing an injured person, he was actually so ruthless. He wanted to wake him up even though he was unconscious. He really didn't put them monsters in his eyes. They all had a common enemy. Boom! Xia Ping took a step forward and grabbed with his hand. A tyrannical qigong burst out and a large void hand descended from the sky. Its speed was extremely fast, almost breaking through the sound barrier. What? Wolf Seven Blades, who was 100 meters away, had a huge change in expression. He immediately felt a terrifying airflow pressing down on him. Every inch of his skin felt a terrifying pressure. He tried to dodge but discovered that his body had already been locked down by the mental force. Bastard! Wolf Seven Blades shouted. His entire body immediately swelled up. His whole body trembled and every inch of his muscles was filled with explosive power. Black hair surged out. He struck out with his claw and instantly, countless sharp blades appeared, trying to block the large hand. Bang bang bang. But it was useless. The large hand crushed down and those wind blades were like tofu, easily crushing them into pieces. In an instant, it broke through Wolf Seven Blades' qigong defense. With a bang, in the next second, Wolf Seven Blades' body was slammed into the ground by this big hand. In an instant, a human-shaped crater was formed. The ground trembled and cracks appeared. It couldn't help but spit out large mouthfuls of blood. Its body was heavily injured. Human nature. You're a demon, what right do you have to talk to me about such things? Xia Ping looked at Wolf Seven Blade with disdain. Seeing how loud you were, I thought your strength wasn't bad. I didn't expect you to be trash that could be killed with one palm. With this kind of strength, you want to stand out? Aren't you a bit too full of yourself? Now, I'll give you some pointers and let you know what it means to keep a low profile. You don't have to be too grateful to me. Self-righteous? Wolf Seven Blades was driven mad. His face was completely red from anger. This shameless human sneak attacked him and beat him half to death. Now, he was actually mocking and ridiculing him. He had never seen such a despicable human in his life. Moreover, he even humiliated him in front of so many demon race geniuses. Right now, he even had the heart to kill Xia Ping. He even said that he was giving him pointers and letting him know what it meant to be low profile and not to be too grateful to him. Grateful my ass. He had already beaten him up and heavily injured him with one palm. Who would be grateful for something like that? Wolf Seven Blades couldn't believe it. Since when did the human's skin become thicker than a chopping board? Did he even have any face to say such words? Xia Ping. The group of demons were furious and angrily glared at Xia Ping. They simply wanted to eat Xia Ping alive. This scoundrel human actually dared to act so brazenly, heavily injuring Wolf Seven Blade with a slap in front of them. Too impudent. This guy was simply unbridled. Not convinced? Xia Ping cast a sidelong glance and said indifferently, if you have the guts, then come up. I can fight 10 of you. He was extremely disdainful in his heart. Previously, when they were dealing with the Yanhuang University students, they were even more ruthless than him. One by one, the Yanhuang University students were paralyzed and sent to the hospital. But at that time, they didn't say that it was too much. They even said that it was just a spar and that they were giving pointers. But now, when it was their turn, they were defeated by him and said that this kind of behavior was too much. This kind of double standard was really well played. However, he was also too lazy to argue with these demons. If they were not convinced, then they could just come up and fight. If these demons still dared to continue to clamor, then he would just slap them to death with one palm. You can fight 10. What shameless boasting. Come and fight with me. I want to see how you can fight 10. Immediately, an ox demon jumped out. It widened its eyes and breathed out hot air from its nose as it stared fixedly at Xia Ping. The demonic aura on its body was boundless and extremely terrifying. It emitted the aura of a martial master at the 7th layer. As it walked on the ground, just this aura alone was enough to crack the ground. This human doesn't look big, but his tone is quite big. If he wants to fight 10, then we will fulfill his wish. Let me join in as well. Immediately, many demons jumped out. Among them were snake demons, tiger demons, horse demons, wolf demons, and so on. They were at least martial masters at the 5th layer, and the strongest one was martial masters at the 7th layer. Each of them was extremely powerful. Even if 2 or 3 human martial artists of the same level joined forces, they would not be a match for them. It's over. This kid has angered everyone. Many elite students were dumbfounded. They did not expect these demons to join forces to fight Xia Ping. Bullying with numbers, that's a little too much. Immediately, a Grandmaster teacher frowned and wanted to stop this battle. However, before he could do anything, a Grandmaster monster next to him stopped him and smiled. Why are you so nervous? It's just a sparring match. No one will die. Also, this is what you humans asked for. We didn't force you. It's the world of the young now. It's better for old bones like us not to disturb the young. What do you think? It looked at the teachers of Yanhuang University with a smile that hit a dagger. It seemed to be saying that if these teachers dared to make a move, they would not be polite and would stop these human grandmasters. This was because Xia Ping's words were clearly an insult to the demon race. This had completely angered them. They wanted to use this opportunity to teach this kid a lesson. Damn it! The few human grandmasters clenched their fists. They felt the threat of these grandmaster monsters. If they dared to make a move, these grandmaster monsters would probably not show any mercy. If a battle between grandmasters broke out in this place, the consequences would be no small matter. At the very least, the elite students who stayed there would be affected, and many people would definitely be injured or killed. Most importantly, these grandmaster monsters knew their limits. They knew that they could not kill anyone here. They had a good grasp of propriety, so there was no reason for them to make a move. They had no choice but to stand where they were and watch the situation unfold. Chapter 540. Boom! In an instant, the bull demon rushed up at once, and suddenly the sky shook and the earth shook. Its feet trampled on the ground as if there was a magnitude 7 or 8 earthquake in the entire training ground. The demon power in its body surged out wildly, covering its whole body and condensing into a substance. It seemed to form an air shield like a golden bell. When it ran over, it produced a strong attack power. If it was hit by such a force, even a small mountain would collapse. Human, die. A snake demon swooped over. Its body wriggled in the air like a green phantom. It tore through the air and attacked at lightning speed. This is the snake demon known as green bamboo. It is green, extremely fast, and can break the sound barrier in an instant. Often, the enemy does not know what is going on, and they are pierced in the heart by this snake demon. Even it carries a terrible poison. If the enemy is slightly cut, the poison will invade, and they will die in less than 3 steps. Human, eat my claws. A tiger demon roared, and it was earth-shattering. Its tiger roar condensed into a substantial sound wave, spreading in all directions, shaking the eardrums of the surrounding people, and even dozens of cracks appeared on the ground. This is an iron tiger demon, born to control iron elements. A pair of tiger claws is invincible, and even titanium alloy metal will be easily cut into pieces by it. Not to mention, it has natural divine power, almost comparable to the elephant clan. Even among the many demon clan geniuses, its strength can be ranked in the top 10. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In just a few breaths, 10 demon geniuses rushed over, using their bloodline talent, controlling the demon power, and attacking Xia Ping. Dozens of terrifying forces condensed into a substance. If a human warrior touched it, he would be smashed into pieces by this force in less than a second, leaving nothing behind. Dark North Body Protection Technique. Xia Ping's eyes were cold. He stood on the ground, his hands turned into a circle, and ran the qigong in his body. Countless qi of true essence gushed out from his 108,000 pores. Suddenly, a strong air shield enveloped his body, with his body as the center, forming an air shield with a diameter of 1 meter, tightly encircling and isolating the outside world. Behind his body, the air shook and twisted, as if there was a vision. A kunpeng flew up from the sea, and at the same time, there was the sound of crashing seawater. Bang 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 bang. In the blink of an eye, the attacks of the 10 monsters arrived. Some were extremely ferocious, some were soft and cold, some were indestructible, and some contained poison. 10 different kinds of demonic powers attacked at the same time, like countless streams of air tearing, forming a terrifying vortex, wanting to crush Xia Ping's body into pieces. But it was useless. When the Dark North Body Protection Art formed, Xia Ping's energy shield, all of a sudden, the energy shield in thousands of times, crazy absorption of this power. Recoil. Just when these qis reached the limit, Xia Ping stepped out and ran the Dark North Body Protection technique in his body, and all the absorbed strength was returned at once. What? Immediately, the 10 monsters were shocked. They couldn't believe their eyes. That attack was enough to defeat any enemy. No matter how strong this human was, he was no match for them. But what was going on now? Not only did the other party block all of their attacks, but he was even able to reflect the power of their attacks. This was too unfair. But now it's not their turn to think. Before, in order to kill this damn human, they used all their strength and made a killing blow, making sure that Xia Ping had no power to fight back, and they didn't leave much demonic power in their bodies. It can be said that now their old strength has been exhausted and new strength has not been generated. How can they resist the power of such a recoil? Dong! Immediately, the sound of morning bells and evening drums sounded in the air, and countless forces returned along the way, bombarding the bodies of these demon clan heavens chosen, and even the power of the recoil was stronger than their attack. Ah 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 ah! These monsters immediately let out a shrill scream, and their bodies seemed to be slapped by a peerless master. The terrifying strength shook thousands of times, and their lungs were immediately hit hard, and they couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. With a few bangs, their bodies flew out and hit the ground of the training ground one by one, creating a huge deep pit, smoke and dust, and gravel splashing. They even fell to the ground and kept coughing up blood, dyeing the ground red. Too strong. Not only were the demon race geniuses who didn't make a move, but even the elite students at the side were dumbfounded. Xia Ping didn't even make a move, but he was able to defeat the joint forces of 10 demon race geniuses. He was so valiant. He was so strong. They knew how terrifying these demon clan heavens chosen were. Although there were no powerhouses at the peak of the martial master realm, they were at least in the 5th or even the 7th heaven of the martial master realm. This kind of strength was enough for them to be ranked at the top among the elite students. But now, these demon clan heavens chosen joined forces, and yet they were beaten so miserably by this kid. This was simply unbelievable. Damn it! A tiger demon roared, trying to get up. Although it suffered such a serious blow, with the strong physique of the tiger clan, it was still able to get up from the ground. It was now extremely angry. It was defeated so easily by a human that it looked down on. Such a thing was simply humiliating and unacceptable. Damn it my ass. Xia Ping slammed his palm down from the sky, and a huge true essence hand crushed down. It was like Buddha suppressing Sun Wukong, with an invincible aura and power. With a bang, the palm landed on the tiger demon's body, causing it to fall to the ground and sink 5 to 6 meters. Several of the bones in its body were shattered. It immediately spat out a large amount of blood, and its eyeballs turned white. It actually fainted from the slap. This. The group of elite students was speechless. They didn't expect Xia Ping to be so ruthless and decisive. Before the tiger demon could say anything, he knocked it out with a slap. He didn't give the demon any face. Who else? Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back and looked at the many demon clan heavens chosen. Who else is unconvinced? Jump out and let me see. If I can't cripple you in 3 moves, I'll consider it my loss. The clothes on his body fluttered without any wind. With his body as the center, a terrifying aura erupted. It immediately enveloped the experts in the entire training ground, making them feel extremely suppressed. In a few moves, he defeated 10 demon clan heavens chosen. This kind of invincible aura made these demons feel extremely fearful and speechless. Chapter 541. He's too strong. He's invincible. He just advanced to the martial master realm not long ago, but he's already so strong. I can't imagine it. He's like a divine beast in human skin. The group of elite students were full of admiration. Even 10 monsters were no match for this kid. If such a person wasn't invincible, he wouldn't be qualified to do so. Previously, the group of monsters had been so arrogant. They bullied Yanhuang University and acted like they were the kings of the world. They even wanted to give the elite students some pointers on martial arts techniques. But now, no one dared to make a sound after seeing so many heaven's favorites of the demon race beaten to the ground. That was how martial artists were. No matter how powerful they were, it was useless. Whether they were strong or not, they would know after a fight. In the world of martial arts, the winner was king and the loser was the bandit. Ha! Seeing this situation, a human grandmaster immediately laughed. He looked at the grandmaster demons beside him and said, "Thank you for letting us win. Our people were too heavy-handed and we couldn't hold back in time. With just a few moves, we severely injured your descendants. You don't mind, right? After all, it's just a spar." He looked at the group of grandmaster monsters proudly. Damn it, this bitch. The group of grandmaster monsters were so angry that their faces turned green. How could they not hear that the human grandmaster was mocking them? Previously, they had deliberately stopped the human grandmaster from interfering with the battle. In fact, they wanted to see the damned human beaten up by their young disciples and regain the face of the monster race. But who would have thought that even though 10 monsters had attacked, such strength was enough to suppress all enemies? Yet, they were still defeated by this despicable human, and lost so miserably. Now, not to mention regaining the face of the monster race, they would probably lose even more face. At the thought of this news spreading and letting many humans and demons know that they were bullying the weak, losing so miserably even though 10 of them were fighting against one person, they were so angry that their faces turned green. They could not imagine how they would be punished by the Demon King when they returned. By the way, you have many young disciples. Do you want the students of Yanhuang University to continue giving you pointers? After all, Yanhuang University is a martial arts holy land with many experts. The human grandmaster said proudly, "It's rare for you to have this opportunity after coming from afar. If you miss this opportunity, you won't get it again. Such an opportunity is very rare. Of course, You might suffer some physical pain, but you demons are all thick-skinned. A little injury is nothing. You should be used to it. Pointers my ass. The faces of the Grandmaster demons flushed red. They wanted nothing more than to punch the human Grandmaster. How was he giving pointers? He was clearly abusing and beating up the geniuses of the demon race. This kind of guidance, other than leaving pain all over the body and a psychological shadow, had no benefits at all. But this human evolved Jing Master's mouth was too despicable. He clearly knew this, and yet he was still spouting nonsense. It was clear that he wanted to see the demon race's geniuses make a fool of themselves, and humiliate the demon race. They immediately saw through the human Grandmaster's shameless and sinister intentions. Suddenly, Xia Ping wanted to say something, but at that moment, the golden crow of hell cells in his body began to boil, emitting an aura of death. It was as if he was in mortal danger. He had never felt such a feeling before. It was as if he would be killed in the next second. This feeling came from a warrior's sixth sense, a keen sense of danger from the golden crow of hell bloodline. All such extraordinary creatures were extremely sensitive to danger. Because of this ability, extraordinary creatures could often avoid many unknown fatal dangers and live to adulthood. A Grandmaster. A Grandmaster was planning to assassinate him. Xia Ping woke up with a start. This was an unprecedented crisis. He had never thought that there would be someone who would dare to assassinate him in front of so many teachers at Yanhuang University. Moreover, the other party was a Grandmaster. Although he did not know why the other party was so bold, he did not have the time to think about it now. Spatial ring. With a whoosh, Xia Ping immediately exerted his mental strength and infused it into the spatial ring on his hand. In the next second, his figure disappeared on the spot and escaped into the inner space of the spatial ring. TSK, human, how dare you insult the demon clan? Go to hell. A gloomy voice rang out. Swoosh. At the same time, a black light came from afar, almost breaking through the sound barrier by 10 times. This speed was so terrifying that it produced a sharp sound in the entire training ground. This sound was more than 10 times stronger than the tiger demons. It shook the surrounding elite students and sent them flying for dozens of meters, smashing into the wall of the training ground. Even their lungs were injured on the spot when the sound bombarded their bodies. With a loud bang, the terrifying black energy fiercely attacked the ground where Xia Pingyuan was standing, creating a huge pit with a diameter of 10 meters and a depth of tens of meters. Immediately, the entire training ground was filled with dust, covering the sky and the sun. Damn it, what's going on? How did I fail? The mysterious voice was extremely stunned. It seemed that it could not believe that it would fail. It was an assassination expert at the peak of the supreme power level. Even many supreme power masters had been killed by it. But now it could not kill a little human martial master. It did not even know where Xia Ping was. It seemed that he was hiding in a dimensional space. It had never seen or heard of such a thing. Bastard, who dares to commit murder in Yanhuang University? Feeling this scene, all the human supreme power masters were stunned and angry to the extreme. Someone dared to attack their own students under their noses. They must have eaten the guts of a leopard. They did not take Yanhuang University seriously at all. Moreover, the person who was attacked was an elite student of Yanhuang University, a genius among geniuses. If such a genius was secretly injured by the enemy, it would be an unbearable burden for Yanhuang University. One by one, the Supreme Power Masters immediately took action and instantly locked on to the enemy who attacked. But it was useless. This enemy was mysterious and unfathomable. It seemed to be a shadow. In an instant, it escaped the range of these Supreme Power Masters and came and went like a ghost. Human, you are lucky this time. I will come to kill him again next time. Let's see how long you can protect him. The mysterious shadow left these words and calmly escaped. Damn it! All the human Supreme Power Masters were furious, but the ability of this mysterious shadow was too terrifying. Even if their mental strength was strong, they could not catch up with it at all. They could not even find its whereabouts. How dare you come to Yanhuang University and behave atrociously? Stay. Chapter 542. What? Feeling the strong pressure and the omnipresent cold current between heaven and earth, the mysterious shadow's face suddenly changed. It was as if this power could change the weather. Because it found that its body, which was originally moving freely, was actually frozen at this moment. The cold air rushed over and suddenly froze its body. Damn it! The mysterious shadow shouted, and a violent momentum burst out of its body. It seemed that the whole training ground was shaking. It tried to use the power in its body to expel the cold current. Dong! But it was useless. A slender hand, which was surrounded by white light, slapped down. It was like an ice goddess, carrying a terrible cold current. A cloud of white fog immediately shrouded the whole training ground, making it impossible for people to see anything in the training ground. It was white everywhere, as if an ice storm had arrived. Suddenly, the mysterious shadow let out a scream, and its whole body was immediately frozen into ice. The area within a radius of hundreds of meters turned into a world of ice and snow. The surrounding students couldn't help but shiver and step back. It seemed that if they didn't stay away, they would be invaded by the cold air. Their lungs would be frozen in an instant, and their vitality would be taken away. Shadow Devil, this is known as the strongest assassination race among the demon race, Shadow Devil. Someone immediately shouted, staring at the creature in the ice, inexplicably horrified. It was a pitch-black creature with a long horn on its head. It looked like a demon, and its body exuded a strange and mysterious aura. There seemed to be many mysterious runes engraved on the surface of its skin. With a swoosh, Xia Ping also sensed the situation outside. He came out of the space ring and silently appeared in the same place. He also saw the enemy who attacked him. It was a Grandmaster monster, Shadow Devil. No way, it's actually a Shadow Devil. It is said that this kind of monster is extremely special even among the demon race. It can transform into a shadow and make its body reach a state of nothingness. It can shuttle through any place silently and blend into the depths of the shadow of every creature. Yes, it is precisely because of this ability that they have killed countless experts. Especially after advancing to the Grandmaster realm, their assassination ability is simply unparalleled in the world. If they are lucky, they can even kill a king. Fortunately, there are very few shadow demons. Otherwise, the entire world would be shrouded in its shadow of death. However, with the Shadow Devil's innate ability, it's extremely difficult to capture it. If it wants to escape, even a king tier might not be able to catch up to it. However, it was caught in an instant. Just who is it? Everyone was shocked. They were even more shocked and they found out that the Grandmaster who tried to assassinate Xia Ping was a shadow demon. The shadow demon was known as the strongest assassin race. If it wanted to escape, almost no one could stop it. Previously, several human Grandmasters had tried to stop it, but to no avail. Entering Yanhuang University was like entering an uninhabited land. One could imagine how arrogant the shadow demon was. But now, he was frozen by this mysterious woman in an instant and couldn't even escape. One could imagine how terrifying this woman was. When the white mist dissipated, the woman's appearance was revealed. She wore a long white dress, and her skin was as translucent as snow. She had an exquisite and beautiful face, and her figure was exquisite. She was tall and alluring, and she gave off a cold aura. At the same time, she was also wearing black-rimmed glasses, exuding a trace of intellectual aura. Her whole body had a mature charm, just like the big sister next door. Qiu. Xia Ping's pupils shrank. He immediately recognized this mysterious woman. She was Qiu, the teacher in charge of his senior year. he didn't expect to see her at Yanhuang University. She even caught the shadow demon and showed her terrifying strength. She had at least reached the peak of the Grandmaster realm. Qiuxiu. Suddenly, an elite student immediately shouted, "This is Qiuxiu, a core student of our Yanhuang University. She has reached the peak of the Grandmaster realm and is already half a step into the King realm." "No way, this is the famous monstrous genius, Qiuxiu. It's said that she is known as the strongest genius of our Yanhuang University in hundreds of years. She became an elite student half a year after entering the university. 3 years later, she was promoted to the Grandmaster realm and even became a core student. Her cultivation speed is frightening. I've heard of her name. People call her the Snow Goddess. She has mastered the ultimate power of ice and has a formidable record. Many Grandmaster monsters have died in her hands. It's said that she has entered the Demon Clan's must-kill list." Core student. Is this the core student of Yanhuang University? It's really terrifying. Many elite students looked at this woman in admiration. Even though they were already elite students of Yanhuang University, they were still far from reaching the Grandmaster realm and becoming a core student. Because of the rules of Yanhuang University, if one could not be promoted to the Grandmaster realm before the age of 30, then he would not be able to become a core student in this life and would immediately graduate from Yanhuang University. The problem was that it was extremely difficult even for many geniuses to be promoted to the Grandmaster realm before the age of 30. This was simply 1 in a million. I'm really sorry. At this time, a Grandmaster monster came up and said apologetically, "This shadow demon is not from our side. I don't know where it came from. But don't worry, we'll definitely investigate this matter thoroughly and give Yanhuang University an explanation. We'll see which fellow has the guts to cause trouble in the human race's territory." It gritted its teeth and seemed to be very angry. "Oh. Then what do you want?" Qiuxiu raised her eyebrows. The Grandmaster monster said righteously, "I hope that Miss Qiuxiu will hand over this shadow demon to us. We, the demon race, have many methods to extort confessions. No matter how stubborn this shadow demon is, we will definitely make it speak. We will make it tell us the identity of the person behind it and the purpose of its assassination of the human race geniuses. It wanted to get this shadow demon back. There's no need." As soon as he finished speaking, Qiuxiu's beautiful eyes revealed a trace of coldness. She slapped down with her hand. With a bang, the ice that had originally wrapped around the shadow demon was immediately smashed into pieces by this tyrannical force. With a bang, the shadow demon was immediately torn into pieces. It could not be any more dead than it already was. "You!" Seeing Qiuxiu's action, the few Grandmaster monsters all clenched their fists. Their eyes were wide open and there was a terrible anger in their hearts. They wanted to tear Qiuxiu into pieces. One had to know that the Shadow Demon clan was also an illustrious fighting clan among the demon race. They were born to be masters of assassination. The death of even one was unbearable, especially when this Shadow Demon was a Grandmaster. Chapter 543. Awesome! Xia Ping was very impressed. This Master Qiuxiu was really ruthless. She didn't have the slightest bit of soft-heartedness, and she was decisive. She killed the demon without any hesitation. This group of demons probably didn't expect Qiuxiu to be so ruthless and not give them any face. She killed a Grandmaster demon just like that, without any mercy, and in front of them. Originally, they thought that at the very least, this woman would leave the Grandmaster Shadow Demon alive. This way, they might be able to get some information from the Shadow Demon. However, she didn't need it at all. She killed it with one slap. "What's wrong? I killed this assassin who wanted to assassinate my human race's genius. Do you have any objections? Or could it be that this shadow fiend was sent by you?" Qiuxiu narrowed her eyes and looked at these Grandmaster demons. She revealed a faint killing intent. "No, no, no. Of course not. We have nothing to do with this shadow demon. Immediately, the few Grandmaster demons waved their hands and tried to explain. This was the human race's territory. If they said they had anything to do with this matter, they might be torn apart by the angry human kings. Perhaps the human kings wouldn't even have to do anything. Just this woman in front of them could kill them dozens of times. It's good that you have nothing to do with it, Qiushu said coldly, but it is an assassin of your demon race. You can't escape from this matter. We must investigate thoroughly. If we find out that you ordered the shadow demon to assassinate my human race's genius, I will never let you go. She directly threatened them. Damn it! The few Grandmaster demons' faces turned red. They couldn't help but clench their fists. The veins on their foreheads popped. When had they ever been threatened by a human like this? It was clearly a slap in the face and a complete humiliation. However, they didn't dare to say anything. Not to mention that they were in the wrong, the other party's strength far surpassed theirs. If they dared to fight back, they would be asking for humiliation. They didn't say much either. They only promised to investigate this matter thoroughly and that it had nothing to do with them. After saying that, the few Grandmaster demons left with the group of demon race geniuses. They didn't dare to stay here any longer. Also, with such a thing happening, the duel couldn't continue. As expected of a core student. So domineering. Do you see those Grandmaster demons? They don't even dare to make a sound. How dare they? Even the shadow demon at the Grandmaster peak was killed by a palm. Even if they join hands, they will be killed in a few moves. How dare they speak? Aren't they afraid of death? This is the scolding of a core student. His strength is terrifying beyond belief. It's said that there aren't many core students even in Yanhuang University. Basically, every core student will become a king in the future. Especially Qiushu, she has even advanced to the peak of the Grandmaster realm. Some people say that she can advance to the king realm at any time. It can't be. Does that mean that senior sister Qiu is already the future king? When they heard this news, all the elite students felt even more admiration. Even though they could be considered to be geniuses as well, they couldn't say that they would definitely be able to advance into the king realm, and it could only be said that their chances were greater than others. In history, the number of elite students that were unable to advance to the king realm was simply innumerable. Numerous elite students were stuck at the peak of the Grandmaster realm and were unable to advance throughout their entire lifetimes. That's amazing. Senior Sister Qiu is indeed the idol of us girls. She's beautiful and powerful. She's simply perfect. I don't know what kind of man will conquer a beauty like Senior Sister Qiu. The number of men who want to pursue Senior Sister Qiu can fill the entire Yanhuang University. Even many geniuses of the demon clan are pursuers. Those who can pursue Senior Sister Qiu are at least kings. How can ordinary men be qualified? A group of girls were clamoring. Even for girls, Qiushu was an idol that they greatly admired. Some girls were directly turned gay by Qiushu. Xia Ping, you can actually escape the assassination of the Grandmaster Ing Yao. That's really amazing. Can you tell me how you did it? Qiushu walked over and looked at Xia Ping. She was very curious about this. She had just passed by unintentionally, but she saw the scene of Ing Yao trying to assassinate Xia Ping. However, it was already too late when she wanted to make a move. Once Ing Yao attacked, he would be killed with a single blow. Even an expert at the peak of the Grandmaster realm would not be able to stop him. But who would have thought that the Grandmaster Ing Yao's fatal blow could not kill Xia Ping, and even Xia Ping was not injured at all, which was very strange. Xia Ping was only in the Martial Master realm, which was far from the Grandmaster realm. It was simply impossible for him to escape the attack of such a top killer. The problem was that such a thing was happening right in front of her eyes, and she couldn't understand it no matter how she thought about it. It's a secret. Xia Ping said with a smile, but if Teacher Qiu can be my wife, there's no problem telling you. What? As soon as this sentence came out, it immediately caused an uproar among the surrounding students. This kid was too thick-skinned. It was just some secrets, but he still wanted senior sister Chio to be his wife. Was he shameless? You. Choshu gritted her teeth, and her face turned red. She also suddenly remembered that this kid was not a good person. He had been coveting her for a long time in high school, and even wrote a novel on the internet with her as the heroine. If this was the case, it would not be a big deal, but this guy was a playboy who had stepped on many boats. It was rumored that he might have gotten many girls pregnant, and he intended to deny it. It could be imagined what a scumbag this kid was. It was not an exaggeration to say that he was Chin Shimi. Teacher Chio. Xiaoping said to Choshu, before, we were still in a teacher-student relationship, so you didn't agree, but now that I have graduated, it is no longer a teacher-student relationship, so there should be no problem. Why don't we find a time to cook the rice? He put forward his own suggestion. Cook my ass. Choshu wanted to block this bastard's mouth. What did he mean by find a time to cook the rice? Did he think this was a meal? They could just find a time and place to eat. But according to the character of this shameless student, maybe he really wanted to eat her. No way, this Xiaoping and Senior Chio are still in a teacher-student relationship. Isn't Senior Sister Chio a core student? I don't know, but it seems that these two people have known each other for a long time, and their relationship is not shallow. Not only is their relationship not shallow, they are clearly flirting. I guess there is an adulterous affair in this. Indeed, if this Xiaoping dared to talk to Senior Sister Chio like this, maybe these two people have already had an affair. Impossible, this Xiaoping is also a toad, how can he be qualified to eat swan meat? That's right, Xiaoping is a bad bastard, how can he be qualified to be worthy of Senior Sister Chio? It's ridiculous. Suddenly seeing the appearance of Xiaoping and Choshu, a group of elite students were in an uproar, feeling that there was definitely something fishy between the two. Hee, I didn't expect Choshu to also like to eat young grass. Chapter 544. What? Hearing this familiar voice, Choshu's body stiffened. She seemed to know the identity of the person who spoke. Whoosh! Immediately, a woman descended to the ground. She wore a pair of hot pants and a pair of red high heels, revealing two white and tender long legs, a slender waist, and an extremely hot body. Her white shirt completely outlined her curves. Immediately, all the men present felt the woman's infinite charm. They only had one thought in their mind. Charming. She was too charming. She was simply the world's top stunner. Every move, every frown, and every smile seemed to be able to arouse the most primitive impulse of a male animal. The moment the woman appeared, all the men present seemed to be instantly captured. They crawled at the feet of the woman, unable to move their eyes away. Bah, vixen! Immediately, some of the women felt an endless sense of threat. They immediately spat and looked at the woman with incomparable hostility. All of them pinched their boyfriends next to them, wishing that they could take the men next to them away. However, these men seemed to have lost their souls. No matter what they did, they couldn't move their feet. It was as if their feet were welded to the ground. This woman. Xiaoping's pupils shrank. The golden crow of hell's cells in his body immediately sent him a sense of crisis. He felt that this woman seemed to be extremely dangerous. Her body emitted an extremely strong scent of female hormones. This scent could almost capture the hearts of all the men in the world. If he didn't have the golden crow of hell's bloodline, he probably wouldn't be able to resist this woman's charm. Vaguely, he seemed to see a shadow appear behind this woman. It was a nine-tailed fox, wantonly waving its 9 tails. Sume, what are you doing here? Choshu frowned. It seemed that she really didn't want to see this woman appear. Sume. Xiaoping's heart moved. This name seemed to be very similar to Suji's name. Her temperament was also very similar. Could it be that the two of them had an unusual relationship? The woman, Su-mei, giggled. I came here to see how you're going to eat young grass. I didn't expect that after being a teacher for a year, you actually hooked up with a fresh meat. Not bad. Why didn't I see that you were so thirsty before? Could it be that you like those younger than you? Hearing this, Choshu was instantly angered. Who's thirsty? Don't spout nonsense here. She glared at the woman in front of her. Little handsome boy, what do you think? Did this old woman secretly attack you? Su-mei ignored Choshu and turned to look at Xia Ping with a smile. Xia Ping rolled his eyes. I'm not very clear about this. She likes to call me to talk after class. I don't know how many times we've talked, but she's still alone with me, a man and a woman. He blinked his eyes, trying to look innocent. So that's how it is. I didn't think that there would be such a move. Openly using your authority as a teacher to flirt with a handsome student in broad daylight. You can even do something like this. I'm impressed. Su-mei was suddenly enlightened. She seemed to have seen through Choshu's sinister intentions. Bullshit. Choshu was a little crazy. She did call Xia Ping for a talk after class, but that was because this kid's grades were terrible and he wasn't serious in class. She called him over to criticize him. This was the duty of a teacher. But in this kid's mouth, everything was reversed. Instead, he thought that she was plotting something. She coveted men and used her authority as a teacher to deliberately let him stay behind after class. She was trying to be an old cow eating young grass. She was even more wronged than Do-e, beast. I didn't think that Xia Ping and Senior Choshu really have an affair. A man and a woman alone in a room. How can there not be something fishy? No wonder I feel that there's something wrong with these two. Damn it, why haven't I met such a teacher? I'm not bragging, but if the teacher publicly attacks me, I promise I won't resist, I won't struggle, and I'll actively protect this secret. Shameless Xia Ping. He's clearly taking advantage of me. I've never seen such a shameless man before. Countless students were in an uproar. They all glared at Xia Ping and wanted to eat this lucky kid alive. Hearing the words around her, Choshu's face turned green. She clenched her teeth. Su-mei, don't be too proud. This kid is not a good thing. Your sister Su-ji also has an affair with him. She paid attention to Xia Ping's glorious history when he came to Yanhuang University. She also knew about his entanglement with Su-ji. What? Su-mei's face changed. Because in her eyes, her sister Su-ji was the world's best treasure. She couldn't tolerate being bullied by any man. Her beautiful eyes looked at Xia Ping with a little danger. What? You're Su-ji's sister. No wonder you look so similar. So you're my sister-in-law. Xia Ping patted his head. No wonder the two looked so similar. They were both from the Su family and had the bloodline of the demon fox. It could be said that every woman from the Su family had the ability to charm the world. However, not every woman was so powerful. It also depended on their own talent. Obviously, this Su-mei was one of the best even among the many disciples of the Su family. Who's your sister-in-law? Don't talk nonsense. Su-mei angrily glared at Xia Ping. She had the urge to beat this shameless man up. They hadn't even gotten married yet and he already wanted to be a family. His skin was too thick. Tell me, how did you get to know my sister? Xia Ping carelessly said, about this, the process of us getting to know each other was a little dramatic, a little romantic, and even a little action. In short, the situation was very complicated. No matter what, sister-in-law, you know that my relationship with your sister is not shallow. Maybe next year, I'll bring the child to meet the parents. At that time, please take care of me. Take care of my ass. Su-mei didn't have the mood to talk to Xia Ping at all. Her face was extremely dark. He actually wants to bring the child to the Su family next year. What kind of relationship does this shameless brat have with my sister? Has it already been eaten clean by this pervert? Moreover, this brat's character doesn't seem to be a good thing. Moreover, his relationship with Chioshu is unclear. I reckon that he's also a playboy. If my sister were to be together with this kind of man, she would definitely be played around. In the future, who knows how many times she would have to have an abortion. Honestly, what kind of relationship do you have with my sister? How many women have you hooked up with behind my sister's back? Su Mei very dangerously looked at Xia Ping as if she wanted to castrate this guy. About this, I'm not very clear. Xia Ping touched his chin. Fuck, so many that I can't even count. Su Mei was going crazy. She felt that the killing intent in her heart was getting heavier and heavier. She kind of wanted to kill this womanizer Xia Ping right now. He clearly has such a great beauty like my sister, but he still went out to flirt with other women. Hee, Su Mei, why are you angry? Seeing this scene, Chioshu felt very comfortable. She giggled, your sister's matter is not your matter. Isn't it normal for a man and a woman to love? Chapter 545. She's not your sister. Of course, you don't care. Su Mei was so angry that she stared at Chioshu, who was gloating. She didn't expect that one day, she would be so angry by Chioshu. It was normal to say that men and women were in love. Su Ji was not her sister. Of course, it was easy for her to say that. Yes, it's normal, sister-in-law. Xia Ping also shouted at the side, fanning the flames. Big your face. Shut up. I'm not your sister-in-law. Su Mei clenched her fist, and the terrifying power of the Supreme Power Realm erupted from her body. The ground was suddenly shaken, and a huge deep pit appeared. The earth shook a bit, and countless cracks appeared. If it weren't for the fact that it was inconvenient to make a move under the watchful eyes of the public, she kind of wanted to give this bastard a blow, drag him back to the room, and torture him to know what was going on. Amazing. Seeing this scene, Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. It seemed that the strength of this enchantress was not small, and was definitely not inferior to Chioshu. It was not as simple as it looked on the surface. Su Mei, why are you angry? This will happen sooner or later. Chioshu chuckled. She felt that her mood was getting more and more comfortable. There were too few opportunities to make Su Mei, the witch, suffer. If she didn't seize it now, how could she have the opportunity in the future? And don't you like your sister very much and don't want to be separated from her? Why don't you marry him too? It's not bad for two women to serve one husband. Maybe this is also a rare story. She teased. This is good, this is good. Xia Ping touched his chin, and his eyes suddenly lit up. If he could marry these two sisters and have a threesome, his life would not be in vain. Good my ass. Su Mei gritted her teeth. She wanted to hammer Xia Ping to death now. If it weren't for this bastard, she wouldn't have encountered such a dilemma. There's no time like today. I can also be a matchmaker for you. Anyway, your pigu is quite big. You should take good care of it. Next year, you'll give birth to a white and fat boy. Chioshu was insatiable and giggled. Chioshu. Su Mei was driven mad. With a boom, she slapped out with her palm. Terrifying astral energy surged out from her body. She was like a nine-tailed demon fox that contained terrifying power. Chioshu did not feel any fear and also punched out. Her small fist gave off a white light, making her look like a goddess and giving off boundless might. Dong! When the two forces collided, it was like a volcanic eruption. The horrifying chi strength spread in all directions. The chi strength condensed into a substance. This was a fight between two Grand Master Peak experts. Vaguely, there seemed to be a strange phenomenon in midair. It was a battle between a peerless demon fox and the snow goddess. Immediately, the surrounding students were sent flying by the strong wind. Some of them were caught off guard and smashed into the wall, creating a human-shaped hole. Large amounts of rubble rolled down and smoke and dust rose everywhere. Bang bang bang. However, this was only the beginning. Chioshu and Sume collided with each other. It was as if two meteors were colliding as they fought in midair. Every time they collided, a terrifying force would erupt, and a huge crater would appear on the ground. This kind of power was no less than a missile explosion, and it was extremely terrifying. Run! We can't stay here. Otherwise, we will definitely die. A Grand Master teacher shouted and ordered the surrounding students to run away immediately. This was a fight between two experts who were half a step into the king realm. The power was horrifying. If a martial master stayed in this place, he would easily be hit by the aftermath of the battle. In serious cases, he might even be directly shocked to death and could not be saved even if he was sent to the hospital. After saying these words, the Grand Master teachers were the first to run away. They did not even dare to go forward to stop them because the combat strength of the two was far beyond them. They were not in the same dimension at all. If they rashly intervened, they would definitely be beaten up and might even be seriously injured. Fuck, even the Grand Masters are running away. Is this still a teacher? They run faster than anyone else. It's too shameless. Don't talk nonsense. Let's run away too. Seeing the Grand Master teachers running away quickly, the students present were scared to death and their faces turned green. Even the Grand Masters were scared to run away. If they stayed here, how could they survive? Now they were not in the mood to watch the show. They fled in all directions at an extremely fast speed. It was as if they wished their parents could give them more legs. What a terrifying woman. Xia Ping was very emotional. When a woman was angry, it was no small matter, especially a powerful woman. Once she was angry, it was no less than a nuclear explosion. The power was very terrifying. However, he did not pay attention to the two women. He took advantage of this opportunity to quickly run away. Using the Kunpeng steps, a pair of wings grew on his back. He controlled the airflow and quickly left the scene in a few breaths. This battle did not last for long. In just a dozen minutes, it immediately attracted the school's higher-ups, including the King Realm experts. They immediately stopped the battle between Chioshu and Sume. After all, if they continued to fight, it was unknown how many buildings in the school would be destroyed. The higher-ups put them in the confinement room for a month. At the same time, they had to compensate the school for the losses. Chioshu and Sume were in the wrong, so they did not resist and admitted that it was their fault. However, this matter caused a huge storm in Yanhuang University. Not only the ordinary students, but even the elite students and even the core students knew about it. The core students, Chioshu and Sume, fought over a man because of jealousy. Someone immediately exposed it on the internet. Suddenly, many people were in an uproar because Chioshu and Sume were simply legendary students of Yanhuang University. They were known as the most outstanding geniuses in hundreds of years. They had been promoted to the Master Realm at a young age, and now they were half a step into the King Realm. Moreover, they were as beautiful as flowers and had infinite charm. It was unknown how many men had fallen in love with them. They were simply the lovers of the nation. The men who pursued them had a strong group. However, these two proud girls fought to death for a man. They even alarmed the higher-ups and destroyed an area of the school. This was simply earth-shattering news. Impossible. What sort of figures are Chioshu and Sume? They're halfway into the King Realm, and becoming King Realm kings is something that's certain. What sort of man can make them fight each other out of jealousy? It's simply a joke. A core student did not believe such a thing and thought it was a rumor. This is true. There are pictures and videos as evidence. There are also many witnesses. Someone swore that this was absolutely true, and he even provided videos and pictures as evidence. Chapter 546. No way, really? Qiuxiu and Su Mei are really fighting over a man? There is a video, how can it be fake? Damn it, who is this man? What qualifications does he have to be treated like this by the two goddesses? This guy is Xia Ping, a freshman who has just been promoted to an elite student. It is said that since he entered the school, he has caused a lot of trouble. He is a natural troublemaker. There is no justice. What kind of charm does this guy have to make the two goddesses treat him like this? Are they blind? Many students wailed when they saw this video. They couldn't accept this fact until now. A little freshman actually captured the two goddesses. It was incredible. Especially some elite students and even course students who had been in love with the two goddesses for a long time. After hearing the news, their faces were as black as coal. They thought that with their talent and family background, it was only a matter of time before they wanted to pursue the two goddesses, but now a bastard came out of nowhere and took the lead. How could they tolerate this kind of thing? Strange, that kid Xia Ping is just a freshman, and it's his first time in the cloud world. Someone raised their own doubts. According to this kid's identity, he is not qualified to come into contact with core students. How did he know Qiuxiu and Su Mei? It doesn't make sense. It's normal for that kid to know Senior Qiuxiu. Someone revealed, it seems that in order to break through the bottleneck of martial arts, Senior Qiuxiu chose to stay dormant for a period of time and return to the life of an ordinary person. She returned to Yanhuang Star and went to a local high school to work as a teacher. And that kid Xia Ping was a student of that high school. Senior Qiuxiu was his class teacher at that time. It can be said that these two people have known each other for a long time and have been colluding with each other for a long time. Some people had more or less investigated Xia Ping's matter and also knew the relationship between Xia Ping and Qiuxiu. It is said that this Xia Ping is simply a pervert. Someone continued to reveal, when he was in Yanhuang Star, he was not only a student but also had a secret identity. He seems to be a writer of erotic novels. He also wrote a novel called Teacher by Rome. The heroine of this novel is based on Senior Qiuxiu. It is said that many of the plots in it were personally experienced by him, and now he has written them out in full detail. It can be said that this novel completely reflects the filth in the author's heart, as well as the darkness hidden in the depths of human nature. No one can write something like this unless they're super perverted. Everyone was in an uproar because this was the first time they had heard of this. Although they had some information about Xia Ping before, it was not as clear as it was now. Xia Ping's past was dug out by some people in full detail. Beast, how could you write such a thing? Shameless to the extreme. This kid is shameless and lustful. I didn't expect Senior Sister Qiu to fall for such a man. Is she blind? I suggest that this novel be banned immediately. Otherwise, it will definitely corrupt the morals of humanity. Many people cursed loudly, hating Xia Ping very much. Someone went on to expose, if that's all, it's fine, but this Xia Ping is definitely not a good guy. When he was on Yanhuang Star, he was a shameless scumbag who stepped on more than a dozen boats. I don't know how many women were pregnant by him. After coming to the Cloud Realm, this kid has become even worse. It is said that even the Su family's Su Mei and the female companion around her were once killed by him. Seeing this news, the people around were completely speechless. This kid was a rogue to a certain extent. He was simply hungry and could not be choosy. He actually killed a group of women. How ridiculous was this? Could it be that as long as it was a beautiful woman, he could do it with anyone? Soon, Feng Hatang and others also saw such news on the internet. All of them were very angry, feeling that this group of people on the internet was clearly slandering their big brother, making things up and maliciously spreading rumors. One by one, they were filled with righteous indignation and went online to refute. Everyone, don't believe the rumors. My big brother, Xia Ping, is a good person. He has always been impartial and law-abiding. Yes, although my big brother is a bit romantic, which man is not romantic? This is a representation of my big brother's ability. That's right. As the saying goes, it takes a lot to slap someone. If those women don't agree, my big brother can't force them. This is nothing more than taking what we need. Those women covet my big brother's charm, wealth, and status, so they voluntarily send themselves to his door. My big brother just goes with the flow and takes what he needs. What's wrong with this? If you have the ability, you can do the same. All of you are slandering and maliciously slandering my big brother's reputation. It's clearly jealousy. To put it bluntly, my big brother is giving face to these women. It's their honor. It's like the emperor choosing concubines. You see which concubine is chosen by the emperor and feel pain, but you don't know how happy you are. Of course, it's a bit too much to pull up your pants and leave. It's just a small mistake. It's harmless. It's a small flaw in my big brother's brilliant personality. That's right, that's right. Even the sun has black spots. No one is perfect. Feng Hetang and others went online one by one, waving the flag and shouting for Xia Ping. However, these words suddenly aroused the anger of countless people, as if stepping on the tail of these people. All of them were half dead with anger. They had never seen such a shameless person in their life. It was obvious that he had a foot in more than a dozen boats. The contemporary Chen Shimi actually distorted the facts here and said that it was taking what he needed. In order to absolve himself of his guilt, he even said that those women had voluntarily sent themselves to him and that they had evil intentions and were greedy for wealth. He even said that doing this was giving face to those women and was an honor. He used the ancient emperor as an example. If that was the case, didn't that mean that this brat had already regarded himself as an ancient emperor and the women around him were all his concubines? When he was lonely at night, he could choose whoever he wanted to sleep with him. They could be considered to have seen weirdos, but they had never seen someone like Xia Ping. Although these words were said by the people of the Pingtian sect, if the upper beam was not straight, the lower beam would be crooked. Without Xia Ping, who was a crooked person, how would these subordinates dare to say such words? Xia Ping, you beast, don't think that you can continue to be complacent. There will definitely be retribution in the future. It's not that there won't be retribution, but it's not time yet. Just you wait. Let's see how long you can be arrogant for. Is there no one who can punish this scum? Even the heavens are blind to let such a bastard run amok. Good people don't live long, but scourges live for 1,000 years. Chapter 547. In a certain dormitory villa in Yanhuang University, a group of women gathered together. Impressively, the leader was Su Ji. This group of women also saw the news on the internet, and all of them were very angry. Damn it, where did this rumor come from? It actually said that we were wiped out by Xia Ping, and our innocence was ruined. This is not true. A woman felt very angry because this was simply a malicious rumor. I don't know where this rumor came from. It's too much. Sister, we must stop this rumor. We must not let this rumor spread. Many women clenched their fists. They were all virgin girls. If they let this rumor continue to spread, which man would dare to pursue them? This is not necessarily a bad thing. Su Ji's beautiful eyes revealed a trace of light. Because of these rumors, Xia Ping is now the public enemy. He is simply a street rat that everyone wants to beat up. This time, we have hope for revenge. Moreover, this guy foolishly offended my sister Su Mei. He must be tired of his long life. She was proud of herself. No one knew better than her how powerful her sister was. She could be called the strongest genius in the Su family in 1,000 years, half a step into the king realm. If he was targeted by such a terrifying person, no matter how monstrous Xia Ping was, he would not be her opponent. That's right. In this way, Xia Ping is dead for sure. I originally thought that after he was promoted to an elite student, we would have no hope for revenge. I didn't expect him to court death like this. I just don't know how long he can last under the hands of Sister Su Mei. A group of women's eyes lit up. Obviously, they admired a legendary woman like Su Mei very much. Xia Ping, just you wait. Su Ji clenched her fist, looking forward to seeing Xia Ping begging for mercy. As long as she thought of this, her heart felt very comfortable. Even eating ice cream in the summer was not as comfortable as this. At this time, a group of elite students gathered together. All of their faces were very gloomy. Damn it, that freshman Xia Ping is a bit arrogant. Isn't it? As soon as he entered the school, he began to stir up trouble everywhere. Now, he even extended his evil palm to the core students. This is bad. The school's order is gone. How could senior sister Chiu and senior sister Su fall for such a man? It doesn't make sense. That despicable Xia Ping must have used some dirty method to threaten them. Otherwise, how could this happen? These elite students were all gnashing their teeth in hatred towards Xia Ping. This was because they had been in love with Qiuxiu and Su Mei for a long time, and were even continuously pursuing them. But who would have thought that someone would suddenly appear out of nowhere, and this new student, Xia Ping, would take the lead? When they thought about how the pure and clean senior sister Chiu and the charming and moving senior sister Su had already been defiled by that beast Xia Ping, they immediately felt their hearts burn with jealousy. They even wanted to kill Xia Ping. The goddess that they had painstakingly pursued had long since been fucked by that Xia Ping. No one could accept such a reality, and all of them were a little mad, wishing that they could immediately get rid of Xia Ping. No, I can't let this continue. Yes, regardless of whether senior sister Chiu and senior sister Su really like that beast, that brat must be eliminated. Let him stay at Yanhuang University. Our school is really dark. How can he pick up girls? I heard that he even hooked up with senior sister Su's younger sister, Su Ji. I think he's going to take both sisters. I'll take his face. How could he do such a thing? I'm just dreaming. Eliminate him, immediately eliminate that brat. That bastard is simply a human seeder. Wherever he goes, he sows. If we continue to let him stay at Yanhuang University, I don't know how many beautiful female students will be killed by him. A group of elite students were gnashing their teeth and clenching their fists. But if he stays in school, we have no way to eliminate him. An elite student said helplessly. Someone sneered and said, so what if he stays in school? We can find an excuse to get him into the training tower to spar. From time to time, we can beat him up and send him to the hospital. As time goes by, I don't believe that brat can still stay at Yanhuang University. He said a vicious plan. This is a good idea. From time to time, beat him up and force him to drop out of school. Use everyone and completely isolate him. I want to see what he can do. Beat him up a few more times, and he will know what is good for him. Senior sister Chiu and senior sister Su can also be touched by this brat. It's simply too bold. It's said that even the core students want to kill this brat, just waiting for an opportunity. Many elite students gritted their teeth, their eyes revealed a fierce light, and they came up with many vicious plans. Didi at this time, Xia Ping, who had returned to the villa, also heard the prompt from the system. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained 3 million hatred points. I hope you will continue to work hard. 3 million hatred points. It seems that this time I have really angered a lot of people. Xia Ping touched his chin, feeling very happy. Now he had 48 million hatred points on him. This kind of hatred points was not far from 100 million hatred points. He was looking forward to what kind of reward he would get after reaching 100 million hatred points. It seemed that he needed to attract more hatred in the future. Another day passed. On the internet, countless students were lashing out at Xia Ping. Many people were scolding Xia Ping, and it seemed that they had made up all kinds of rumors, describing Xia Ping as a scumbag who did all kinds of evil and liked to play with women. However, the assassination of Xia Ping by Grandmaster Ing Yao did not cause too much waves. It seemed that it was suppressed by someone who did not want to cause too much trouble. At this time, Dean Xiaoyang called, and the two of them had a video communication. Dean, did you come to me because of Ying Yao's assassination of me? Xia Ping asked. Smart, it is indeed this matter. Dean Xiaoyang nodded and said to Xia Ping, the result has come out. This matter has nothing to do with the Demon Clan exchange group, and the Grandmaster Ying Yao came in through other channels. Nothing to do with it? Xia Ping didn't believe this kind of argument. How could there be such a coincidence? As soon as this group of Demon Clan heavenly talents came, the Grandmaster Ying Yao followed. There was no doubt that the Grandmaster Ying Yao took advantage of the arrival of the Demon Clan exchange group to find a gap in the defense of Yanhuang University, so he had the opportunity to assassinate him. Yes, it doesn't matter. This is the excuse of the Demon Clan, and all the evidence has been destroyed by them. We can't do anything about it. Dean Xiaoyang said helplessly. Since the other party dared to carry out such an assassination, it proved that they had dealt with these things cleanly. Even if the matter was exposed, they would not be affected in any way. Chapter 548. Black Scorpion King Cave. Damn it! Even this couldn't kill that human. The Black Scorpion King's expression was very ugly. With a bang, it slammed its palm on the ground, creating a huge pit. The entire cave seemed to be cracked as if it had been smashed into two halves. It was hard to imagine how angry it was right now. Because just now, it had received the news that the Shadow Devil clan killer it had sent had failed and was even killed on the spot by a human stage master. One slap and he couldn't even escape. Because the matter of sending the killer had been exposed, it had seriously affected the harmonious situation between humans and demons. Some big shots of the Thousand Monster Mountain came to warn the Black Scorpion King not to act rashly at this time. Otherwise, they wouldn't mind handing over the Black Scorpion King to appease the anger of the humans. Thinking of this, the Black Scorpion King was extremely sullen. When did the Demon Clan decline to this extent? To actually hand over a monster king to appease the anger of the humans, this was simply a great humiliation. Hundreds of years ago, when the humans were not in this world, the Demon Clan was the king of this world, the ruler. Who dared to say half a word of dissatisfaction to the Demon Clan, unless they were tired of living? But now, the human clan was powerful and menacing, like the sun in the sky. This sky realm was no longer a world ruled by the Demon Clan. No matter how angry it was, it couldn't do anything. Looks like I can only spare that human for a period of time, wait for this matter to calm down, then take action. The Black Scorpion King clenched its fist, its heart boiling with killing intent. It hated this human bastard who killed its son and even caused it so much trouble. If that human was in its territory, it would definitely cut him into pieces without hesitation. But now, he was living in a human residence, and even in a place like Yanhuang University. Even if it was a monster king, it would not dare to enter such a dangerous place. At first, it thought that the Shadow Devil clan's assassination ability was very strong. Dealing with a small martial master realm was as easy as drinking water. It did not expect that it would fail in the end. Endure for now. There will be a time when that brat is alone, and when that time comes, it will be his death. The Black Scorpion King's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. For a king, in order to obtain a certain treasure or to kill a certain enemy, it also had enough patience. Just you wait, human. The Black Scorpion King clenched his teeth. Sooner or later, this king will slaughter the human race and slaughter dozens of human cities. I will sacrifice the human race to avenge my son. Its body exuded a thick baleful aura. At this time, Yanhuang University's elite district villa. Hearing Director Zhao Yang's words, Xia Ping's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. It was the Black Scorpion King's instigation. Although he had already expected it, he still underestimated the Black Scorpion King's determination to kill him. The other party was actually able to find an opportunity to sneak into the heavily guarded Yanhuang University and even find an opportunity to kill him in one strike. It was truly terrifying. If it weren't for his Golden Crow Hell bloodline, which gave him the ability to warn in advance, as well as his space ring, he would have already been killed by that Grandmaster Shadow Monster. Yes, although there is no conclusive evidence, there is no doubt that it was done by the Black Scorpion King. Dean Xiaoyang looked at Xiaoping. You should also understand your current situation. It is full of danger. Even in Yanhuang University, there is a lot of protection, but this protection may not be foolproof. There will always be a slight chance of negligence, just like yesterday. So, if you want to survive the demon race's assassination, you must quickly increase your strength. He reminded Xiaoping of this matter. I know. Xiaoping clenched his fists, his chest filled with monstrous killing intent. It seemed that this Black Scorpion King would not rest until he was dead. He actually sent a Grandmaster Shadow Monster to assassinate him. Once he advanced to the King realm and had strength, that Black Scorpion King must be eliminated. In about a month, the genius contest will begin. I suggest you go to the training tower's gravity room to train. That place should be of great benefit to your training. Dean Xiaoyang said in a deep voice. Gravity room? My private spaceship also has a gravity room installed. There is no need to go to the training tower, right? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. He also knew that the gravity room would be of great benefit to his training. After all, the more pressure one put on one's body, the faster one could stimulate one's potential. Running, lifting, and so on, could only train a part of the body. But under several times the gravity, it could temper every inch of the body, every bone, and even every cell. Under extreme gravity, a warrior's speed of absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth was more than several times that of normal gravity. It could be said that training in the gravity room for 1 hour was equivalent to training in the normal gravity room for 10 days. The efficiency was countless times higher. Stupid. Dean Xiaoyang reprimanded, how can the normal gravity room compare to the school's gravity room? The gravity room exudes a massive amount of pure yang medicinal energy. This medicinal energy is refined from 108 precious medicinal herbs. It is extremely beneficial in repairing injuries and strengthening true essence. If placed in the outside world, this medicinal energy would be worth a sky-high price. But in the school gravity room, you can use it at will. This is a benefit the school gives to the elite students. Pure yang medicine energy. Hearing this, Xiaoping's heart skipped a beat. This was the first time he had heard of the mysteries of the school gravity room. If he could train to the limit in the gravity room, he could tear his muscles. Then, he would absorb the pure yang medicinal qi in the gravity training room to quickly repair his injuries and allow his body to transform. Going back and forth, the effect of training the human body would be immeasurably better. Of course. Dean Xiaoyang continued, if you want to use the gravity room, it is not free. You need points to exchange. 100 points can be exchanged for 1 hour of use. But for you, these points shouldn't be a problem. He looked at Xiaoping with a smile. He knew that Xiaoping's family was not poor. Even a descendant of a king's family could not compare with him. Moreover, he also knew Xiaoping's true identity. Xiaoping came from an ordinary background. He was not a descendant of a big family, but he was able to earn a fortune. This was very amazing. Those rich playboys who only knew how to rely on their big families were not even worthy of carrying Xiaoping's shoes. That was why Zhao Yang appreciated him so much and spared no effort to help him. 100 points for 1 hour. Hearing this, Xiaoping immediately smiled. He did not have much, but he had a lot of points. When he was in the Cloud Mountains, he extorted a group of students' points and paid each of them 100,000 points. In total, he got 3 million points. Now more than 2 months had passed, and all the points had been transferred to his account. It was not an exaggeration to say that he was now the richest among the elite students. Even the core students who had some points might not be able to compare with Xiaoping. After all, to get 3 million points, who knew how many missions he had to complete? It was an astronomical number. Chapter 549. The next day, Xia Ping came to the training tower and wanted to train in the gravity room. But before he could enter, an elite student walked over and said, "I'm sorry, Junior. I want this gravity room. You should go somewhere else." He looked like he was up to no good. Xia Ping frowned. He clearly felt that the elite student was doing this on purpose. He didn't plan to enter the gravity room before, but now that he wanted to go in, the elite student went in first. He was clearly looking for trouble. But there were many gravity rooms here, so there was no need for him to argue with the elite student here. He waved his hand and said, "It's fine. If Senior needs it, then Senior can use it. I can go to the next gravity room." After saying that, he walked toward the other empty gravity chambers. But when he was about to go to the next gravity room, another elite student walked over and went in before him. "I'm sorry, Junior. I'm at a crucial point in my training, and I need the gravity room to assist me. I hope you don't mind if I go in first," the elite student said apologetically and walked in without a care in the world. But Xia Ping didn't see any embarrassment on the elite student's face. Instead, he looked like he was doing it on purpose. "I'm sorry, I need this gravity room urgently. Junior, I've already arranged this gravity room. You can go next." "That's right. Why don't you come back tomorrow? There are too many people who need the gravity room today." "I'm sorry, Junior. You're still a freshman. You don't need to train in a hurry. It's good to take your time and enjoy life." Many elite students spoke to Xia Ping in a sincere and heartfelt manner. The surrounding students also looked at Xia Ping with schadenfreude, as if they were watching a good show. They wanted to know how Xia Ping was going to deal with this situation. "It's fine. Since there are no more seats today, I'll come back tomorrow." Xia Ping's expression was calm. No one could tell what he was thinking. The next day, Xia Ping also came, wanting to enter the gravity training room. But today was the same. Many elite students fought to get in before Xia Ping. Some even lined up outside the gravity room. It was a lively scene. If Xia Ping wanted to use the gravity room, he would have to wait until the wee hours of the morning. Perhaps there would still be people using it in the wee hours of the morning. These people clearly did not want Xia Ping to enter the gravity room. Even when he left the gravity room and wanted to use some equipment in the training tower, there would always be an elite student who would step forward and take it away in a timely manner, hindering him in every way. Interesting. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. After arriving at the training tower, he found that all the elite students seemed to be rejecting him, treating him like an outsider. No matter what he wanted to do in the training tower, these elite students would stop him and try to disgust him. In short, Xia Ping couldn't do anything in the training tower. Not only today, but also tomorrow, the day after, and the day after that. If this was in elementary school or middle school, this would be considered bullying. "What are you trying to do? Are you trying to disturb my cultivation?" Xia Ping's expression was very calm as he stared at the group of elite students and questioned them directly. "How would I dare? You're a man who even dares to fuck a core student. Who would dare to disturb your cultivation? Aren't you afraid that you'll call a core student over to teach us a lesson?" An elite student with a protruding mouth and ape-like cheeks looked at Xia Ping with jealousy. When he thought of the relationship between Xia Ping, Qiu Shue, and Su Mei, he felt a little crazy. Qiu Shue and Su Mei were his goddesses, but now they might be fucked by this brat. He might even be defiled day and night. When he thought of this, he could not bear it at all. He was not the only one who felt this way. Many elite students had the same thoughts and were unable to accept this reality. Does a genius like Junior Xia still need to cultivate? He can just lie down and sleep and advance to the king realm. I really envy Junior Xia. Mortals like us can only catch up to a genius like Junior Xia by cultivating hard. Even if he cultivates hard, he might not be able to. A random pill from him is equivalent to several years of cultivation for us. Comparing oneself to others is really infuriating, especially when compared to a genius like Junior Xia. With such talent, why the fuck would he need to cultivate? If it was me, I would play with girls every day and forget about home. Many elite students looked at Xia Ping with cold smiles, and each of them spoke in a strange tone. To be honest, the series of things that Xia Ping had done made them very unhappy. He was clearly just a freshman who was not even worth a fart, but he had actually caused such a big commotion and made such a big scene not long after entering Yanhuang University. And they had been in Yanhuang University for such a long time, but they were unknown. It could be imagined that many of them were jealous of Xia Ping, and some even hated the way Xia Ping was in the limelight. Of course, there were also some people who were neutral. They did not care about it. Perhaps some of them had a good impression of Xia Ping, but under the ostracism of so many people, no one dared to help Xia Ping. This also led to Xia Ping becoming the public enemy, causing him to be ostracized by the elite students. I got it. Xia Ping's expression was very indifferent. He glanced at the elite students around him indifferently. He did not say a word and just left the training tower as if nothing had happened. How strange. An elite student frowned. According to this brat's character, he should have flown into a rage on the spot, but now he actually endured it? It can't be some conspiracy, right? Originally, they wanted to provoke Xia Ping and deliberately make him make a move, then make Xia Ping violate the school rules and be punished by the leaders, but they did not expect him to endure it and leave without saying anything. Conspiracy my ass. An elite student said disdainfully. There are so many of us here, and we have the advantage in numbers. What conspiracy can he play? Even if he grows wings, he won't be able to fly far. Probably seeing that we have the advantage in numbers, he is afraid and does not dare to be arrogant, so he ran away with his tail between his legs. After all, this brat's character is a bit fierce, but he is not stupid. Everyone nodded. What they did was clearly an open conspiracy, bullying the weak, and using numbers to bully the weak. Even if they reported this to the school, no one would care about Xia Ping. That's right. If this continues, that brat will also ask for trouble. Soon, he will be forced to leave Yanhuang University by us. This brat dares to fight us alone. He simply does not know how to write the word death. I guess he will not dare to appear in the training tower in the future. Who cares? We should just step up our training. There is not much time before the genius battle. This time, I must show off in this battle, gain recognition, and stand out. Many elite students clenched their fists. The genius battle this time was not only to select the geniuses to enter the Sky Demon battlefield, but also to attract the attention of many kings. Chapter 550. Training Tower, Management Office. Xia Ping came to the place and said to the manager, I want to reserve the gravity room for tomorrow. Reserve? When the manager heard this, he was stunned. Very few people would book the gravity room. After all, there were enough gravity rooms for every student. Under normal circumstances, elite students could just come to the gravity room. There was basically no need to line up. Xia Ping couldn't use the gravity room because he was being targeted. Can't I reserve it? Xia Ping asked. The manager nodded. Yes, you can. Few people had reserved it before, but it wasn't like there weren't any. It was completely in line with the training tower's rules. That's good. I want to reserve the entire gravity room for 2 months. Xia Ping put up 2 fingers. 2 months? The manager couldn't help but yell, are you crazy? After all, 1 hour was 100 points. A day of 24 hours and 2 months was 60 days. In that case, 2 months would require at least 144,000 points. Even elite students would find it difficult to come up with more than 100,000 points in a short time. After all, they had too many things they needed points to buy. For example, some powerful martial arts manuals, precious pills, elixirs, powerful weapons, shields, and so on. After buying all these things, there wouldn't be much left. That was why 100,000 points was such a huge number that even the manager was surprised. Even though the gravity room was good for martial artists, an hour or two was more than enough for a normal martial artist. The energy absorbed would saturate the body cells. Even for those with strong bodies, 7 or 8 hours would be enough. Any more and it would be as bad as falling short. I only have one question. Can I reserve it for a month? Xia Ping asked. That. The manager hesitated, thinking about the various rules of the training tower. In the end, he said, the training tower doesn't say that you can't reserve it for a month, that's fine. Reserve 20 gravity rooms for me. Xia Ping continued. 20 gravity rooms? Hearing this, the manager was completely dumbfounded. He looked at Xia Ping as if he was a lunatic. To reserve 20 gravity chambers, he would have to spend 88 million points. This kind of points was simply an astronomical figure. Even a normal master couldn't come up with so many points in a short time. Student Xia, why did you reserve 20 gravity chambers? Even if your physique is extremely strong and you can cultivate 24 hours a day, is one room enough? The manager couldn't help but ask. No, just 20 rooms. I like the feeling of spaciousness. Xia Ping said carelessly. Spacious? The manager was speechless. He cursed in his heart. Rich people are so willful. Just for the feeling of spaciousness, he spent more than 2 million points. This is too exaggerated. Even if you have money, you shouldn't spend it like this. He still wanted to dissuade Xia Ping, but Xia Ping immediately said, all right, don't talk nonsense. Since it's in line with the rules, then do it immediately. Don't be long-winded here. All right. The manager couldn't do anything about it. Who asked them to be so rich? They could spend whatever they wanted. Although he felt heartache, he couldn't stop them from spending money. Therefore, he could only book the gravity room for Xia Ping for 2 months. After that, these 20 gravity chambers would belong to Xia Ping. Without his permission, no one could use them for the next 2 months. Rich people are stupid. The manager looked at Xia Ping strangely. He had worked here for more than a decade, but he had never seen someone like Xia Ping. Spending more than 2 million points just to be a little more spacious. It was like he didn't care about money at all. Rich people are stupid. I didn't book 20 gravity chambers for such a ridiculous reason. Xia Ping's eyes flashed coldly. This was his plan to take revenge on those elite students. Those idiots thought that by joining forces, they could isolate him, or even stop him from using the training tower's equipment and kick him out of the school. What a joke. This time, he would let those idiots know what a motley crew really was. Soon, the news that Xia Ping had booked 20 gravity chambers for 2 months at a cost of 88 million points was leaked to all the elite students. Damn it. I didn't think there would be such a trick. He can even book gravity chambers. That kid found a way to break through. An elite student shouted. Because gravity rooms were usually very plentiful, there was basically no one who reserved a gravity room. They had forgotten about this point. That kid is completely crazy. Someone's mouth twitched when he heard the news. It's one thing to book one, but he booked 20 and even booked them for 2 months, spending more than 2 million points. Even if he has money, he shouldn't spend it like this. He's clearly wasting it. He felt very pained. If he had more than 2 million points, he would be able to buy a lot of good stuff. But now, it was all wasted by that prodigal Xia Ping. Damn it, 88 million points. Where did that kid get so many points from? Does he have any serious corruption problems? Hurry up and send someone to investigate him. I guarantee that he will be locked up for decades. An elite student screamed. His eyes were green with jealousy. He had worked so hard to complete the mission and risked his life, but so far, he had only earned 300 to 400,000 points. But this kid had just entered the university not long ago, and he could casually take out more than 2 million points. It was too unreasonable. Corruption my ass. He's not an official. How can he be corrupt? An elite student bared his teeth. If I'm not wrong, these points were definitely given by the core students, Senior Chio and Senior Su. Otherwise, how could he take out so much? Hearing this, everyone suddenly understood. If these points were given by the core students, then everything could be explained. It was not unreasonable for the core students to be rich. Damn, no wonder he's so rich. It turns out that he got it as a gigolo. It's despicable to sell his body. For these points, he even lost his dignity as a man. He even slept with the core students. How can this Xiaoping be so shameless? Bastard. I don't know how many times this guy has served Senior Sister Chio and Senior Sister Su to get more than 2 million points. I guess he's exhausted. I don't know how much profound chi he has consumed. Look at him. He must have been squeezed dry many times. His legs must have gone soft. I'm not convinced. Why? Why can this kid not only sleep with the core students but also take money from them? Why don't they sleep with me? To be honest, my appearance and figure are first class. I don't know how much better than that gigolo. If the two seniors want to sleep with me, I promise I won't struggle and will actively cooperate. Chapter 551. Another day passed. Xiaoping arrived at the training tower and went to the gravity room. This time, no one could stop him because he had spent more than 2 million points to book all 20 gravity rooms. Xiaoping. But before Xiaoping could enter the gravity room, a group of elite students came to Xiaoping and glared at him. Why do you want to book all 20 gravity rooms? Can you afford that many by yourself? And for 2 months. Do you think you're making a fool of yourself? Don't play to the gallery. Even if you have money, that's not how you spend it. Hurry up and tell us your real purpose. What are you plotting? The elite students glared at Xiaoping. Although they all thought that Xiaoping was stupid because he had too much money, some people also suspected that Xiaoping's purpose was not simple. Perhaps he was plotting something. Therefore, they wanted to find out more. It's none of your business. Xiaoping gave them a sidelong glance. I'm rich, so I can book however I want. I like to book 20 rooms. It looks comfortable. How can you poor bastards understand such a realm? Get lost. Good dogs don't block the way. He waved his hand impatiently, shooing the elite students away. Then, he strode into the gravity room. What? Hearing this, all the elite students present were incomparably furious. They simply wanted to give Xiaoping a good beating. They had never seen someone who was so arrogant to such an extent. He was too domineering. Damn it. Look at this nouveau riche face. I really want to beat him up. What poor bastard doesn't understand such a realm? This kid is just riding on the coattails of a core student. That's right. If he didn't become a gigolo, how could this kid get so many points? He's clearly a gigolo, and yet he's so arrogant. What's wrong with this world? Don't laugh at the poor. Even giggles these days are starting to be arrogant. In my opinion, there's no conspiracy. This kid has nowhere to spend his money, so he's showing off. Many elite students were furious. If this wasn't the training tower, they would have rushed up and torn Xiaoping to pieces. One had to know that all of them came from wealthy families, and no one had ever dared to call them poor. But now, this kid actually dared to call them that. Inside the gravity training room, Xiaoping revealed a mysterious smile. He had also heard the words of the elite students outside. Their words revealed anger, unwillingness, doubt, and other emotions. Although these elite students looked down on his actions, many of them were actually suspicious of his intentions. After all, to be able to become an elite student, which one of them wasn't a proud son of heaven? All of them were shrewd and cunning. If they really thought that others were stupid, then they were the real idiots. Therefore, they still suspected that there was a deeper meaning behind Xia Ping's actions. It was just that they couldn't see it for now. That night, Xia Ping immediately used a sock puppet to spread rumors on the school forum. Rumor has it that in order to take revenge on the elite students, the pretty boy Xia Ping plans to take over the entire gravity room tomorrow. No elite students will be allowed to train in there for 2 months. What? When this news spread out, countless elite students were instantly in an uproar. Is that kid crazy? Do you know how many points it would take to cover the entire gravity chamber for 2 months? Even a core student would go bankrupt. Someone was dumbfounded. There were also people who didn't believe it. This news must be fake. No matter how rich that kid is, he wouldn't spend money like this. That kid really thinks that money falls from the sky. Many people nodded in agreement, thinking that it was impossible. To reserve all the gravity chambers in the training tower, and for 2 months at that, the number of points needed was astronomical. Xia Ping's sock puppet continued, "Everyone, don't doubt me. There's nothing that this kid can't do. Everyone, look, ever since this kid entered Yanhuang University, he's been stirring up trouble without any scruples. He's practically the king of heaven. Tyrannical. Over 100 student clubs have been destroyed by him. Very few ordinary students haven't been beaten up by him. Lustful to the heavens. Even Su Mei's sisters have been wiped out by him. He forced himself on them. Recently, he's even more arrogant. He even killed the Black Scorpion King's son, Scorpion 13. He almost caused a war between the demon race and the human race. A madman like him would do anything for the sake of justice." As Xia Ping spoke, the events were laid out one by one, instantly shocking countless elite students. This was the first time they had heard of Xia Ping's entire story. Sweeping over 100 clubs, establishing the Ping Tian Gate, harming women, defeating the Wind Chaser Gang, killing the entire Wu Gang sect, and even killing the Black Scorpion King's son, Scorpion 13. He almost caused a war between the demon race and the human race. With such an incident laid out, it all proved that this brat was a lawless person who was capable of doing anything. If it were other elite students, they wouldn't believe this rumor at all. However, this kid was Xia Ping. A person's reputation was like a tree's shadow. For the sake of justice, he might really do it. Fuck, if he really bought all the gravity chambers, then how the hell are we going to cultivate? Plus, the genius battle is just around the corner. Without the gravity chambers, my cultivation speed will definitely be greatly reduced. Vicious. This kid is extremely vicious. In order to prevent us from performing well in the genius battle, he purposely bought all the gravity chambers. Harming others without benefiting himself. Only that beast Xia Ping would be able to kill 800 enemies and lose 3,000 of his own. No wonder he didn't say anything when we bullied him. So he was planning such a vicious scheme. This kid is a new student. He didn't participate in the genius battle this time, but he can participate next time. But we can't. We only have a few years before graduation. This is our last chance. Despicable and shameless. That bastard knows this and wants to disgust us. What should we do now? I've been practicing a martial art recently. I can't do it without the gravity chambers. If that kid really bought all the gravity chambers for 2 months, then we can only watch. That kid is using a desperate strategy. Is no one going to control him? So what if he's rich? He can buy all the gravity chambers with money. There's no other way. There's no rule in the training tower that says no one can't buy all the gravity chambers. That's right. After all, it takes a lot of points to rent out a gravity room. Which elite student would be willing to part with it? No one has ever discovered this blind spot. Who would have known that this guy is so cruel and has so much money that he has nowhere to spend it? Only he could think of buying all the gravity chambers. Even a prodigal wouldn't be this bad. Many elite students gritted their teeth. They also believed this rumor. If it was Xia Ping, then it was really possible that he would do such a thing. Chapter 552. What? Hearing this news, those elite students were instantly stupefied. Because the news came one after another, and it didn't give them any time to catch their breath. They didn't have any time to think. This was Xia Ping's plan. If these people were given time to think, they might find something fishy. But Xia Ping was careful and released the news at once, leaving them no time to think. Xia Ping remembered that when he was still on Earth, the nuclear facility in Japan exploded. At that time, there were many rumors in the coastal areas, saying that the nuclear pollution had drifted to the coast along with the seawater and would pollute the entire salt field. This would cause the price of salt to skyrocket. It might even cause a national salt shortage. In the end, this news made everyone go crazy. One by one, they rushed to the supermarket to buy the salt. Some even bought a few years' worth of salt. Seeing so many people go crazy, the others also joined in the rush. It should be known that these people's IQs passed. Some were even university professors. But because this kind of rumor spread too quickly, countless people rushed to buy, causing them to lose their minds. They had no time to think about whether this was true or not. As a result, one by one, they went to the supermarket, forming a herd mentality, leading to the rush. One person was smart, but a group of people together was stupid. From this, the power of rumors could be seen. Whoosh! Xia Ping immediately appeared in the management office of the training tower. At this time, many elite students also received the news and hurried over. Seeing Xia Ping's figure in this place, their eyes turned green. Xia Ping! An elite student rushed up and glared at Xia Ping. What are you doing here, kid? He was anxious and angry. At the same time, he was glad that he believed the words on the forum. Otherwise, this animal Xia Ping would have succeeded. The other elite students also glared at Xia Ping, as if they wanted to tear him to pieces. Nothing. I just have some business to do. Xia Ping said carelessly, right, it's so late. What are you guys doing here in groups? Don't you need to sleep? Sleep my ass. The group of elite students gritted their teeth. If they really went back to sleep, they were afraid that Xia Ping would really succeed. All the gravity room would be occupied by Xia Ping. Then, how could they train for the next 2 months? All of them should just go back to their hometown and plant sweet potatoes. Fuck you. Don't fuck me. Hurry up and scram, an elite student shouted at Xia Ping, telling him to scram. Xia Ping said disdainfully, so what if I'm doing some business? It's none of your business. You don't go back to sleep in the middle of the night. Instead, you wander around here all day and have nothing better to do. Are you elite students so free all day? Keep pretending, Xia Ping, keep pretending. Your plot has been completely exposed, do you know that? You want to take over the entire gravity room? Only you can think of such a wasteful thing. To tell you the truth, don't even think about doing business today. Hurry up and go home to sleep. The group of elite students clenched their fists tightly. They all looked as if they wouldn't stop Xia Ping if they didn't stop him. If they really let this brat take over the entire gravity room, then they would really have nothing to do for the next 2 months. Hearing this, Xia Ping revealed a look as if he didn't expect his evil plan to be known. He simply broke the pot and said, well, since you know my plan, then I won't hide it. I'll tell you directly. That's right. I've already gathered a large amount of money and plan to take over the entire gravity room for 2 months. Don't you all want to target and ostracize me? That's why I'm very angry. The consequences are very serious. Even if I have to pay a huge price, I'll disgust you all and vent my anger. Anyway, I'm just a new student. Even if I can't do it this time, there's still next time, or even the time after that. But you guys can't. Without this opportunity, you'll have to get the hell out of Yanhuang University. Evil. Although they already knew about Xia Ping's evil plan on the forum, hearing it from Xia Ping's own mouth still made them feel a chill from the soles of their feet to the top of their heads. How could there be such a shameless and evil person in the world? To actually pay such a huge price just to vent his anger, he simply didn't treat money as money. Harming others without benefiting himself. He would rather suffer a huge loss than let them have a good life. What kind of despicable person was this? He would seek revenge for the smallest grievance. His heart was so vicious that there was no end to it. Alright, since you all know my plan, then I won't waste any more words with you. A bunch of poor bastards, get the hell out of here. Xia Ping waved his hand. Wait until I take over the gravity room, then you guys can just sit outside and watch. Maybe you can run outside or lift weights. This kind of exercise is very suitable for poor bastards like you. He put on a rich and overbearing look, clearly wanting to use money to smash people until they started to doubt their own lives. Poor my ass. Don't think you're the only one with money. You want to use money to smash us? Dream on. Isn't it just 2 months of gravity rooms? Only 100,000 points. We have that too. That's right. You're not the only one who can take over the gravity room. We can too. Many elite students clenched their fists and stared at Xia Ping. They had also thought of a plan to take over the gravity room. After all, Xia Ping wasn't the only one who could do it. They had the qualifications too. Really? Don't force yourself. Xia Ping's face was full of doubt. Force your ass. Although 100,000 points is a lot, it's not like we don't have any. Even if we don't have any, we can still raise funds. With a few of us, each of us can take out tens of thousands of points. That's a piece of cake. If that's not enough, we can take out a loan. All the elite students sneered at Xia Ping. Although they didn't have as much money as Xia Ping, if they really wanted to take out tens of thousands of points, they could just barely do it. Although they all felt that it was a waste of money, in order to resist Xia Ping's evil plan, they had no choice but to take out this sum of money. Otherwise, they would really be cheated by Xia Ping. Alright, let's see how much money you have. After saying this, Xia Ping smiled and glanced at the elite students around him. He knew that his plan had succeeded. He pretended to be flustered and exasperated, then turned around and left. This is so cool. Looking at Xia Ping's flustered and exasperated expression makes my whole body feel good. My scheme has been exposed. That's all there is to it. This kid wants to fight us. He really doesn't know what's good for him. Hurry up and go back to raise funds. Don't let Xia Ping take it all. If that happens, we'll all be cheated to death. Of course, 100,000 points is nothing. We definitely can't let his scheme succeed. Chapter 553. Book me a gravity training room for 2 months. Me too. I'll book it together. In order to prevent Xia Ping from booking all the gravity rooms and causing the people around him to be unable to use them, many elite students went to the management office to book gravity rooms for 2 months, just like Xia Ping. Immediately, a small portion of the gravity rooms were booked by the elite students present. And this news quickly spread to the ears of all the elite students. What did you say? A large portion of the gravity rooms have been booked, and they're going to be gone soon. That's impossible. Didn't they say that there were enough gravity rooms? How could they be gone so soon? Because of Xia Ping, the other elite students are also fighting for the right to use the gravity rooms. If they don't act fast, they'll all be taken. Many elite students were shocked. They didn't go online before, so they didn't know about this. By the time they found out, a portion of the gravity rooms had already been taken. At this time, Xiaoping created a sock puppet and immediately posted a message on the internet to threaten the other elite students. According to reliable sources, only a small portion of the gravity rooms are left. If you don't book them now, there won't be any empty gravity rooms for the next 2 months. What? If they were just shocked before, then they were completely shocked now. They didn't expect the situation to be this critical. They might not be able to use the gravity rooms for the next 2 months. Damn it, the genius battle is about to start. The gravity rooms are extremely important to me. The diamond protection art I'm cultivating needs the omnipresent gravity in the gravity room to refine every inch of my muscles, bones, and cells. That's the only way I can cultivate it to great completion. Isn't that right? My green wind brushing willow sword art, if I can use it freely under 10 times the gravity, the power of my sword art will increase by at least 10 times. 2 months of training can completely raise my combat power to a new level. Now you're telling me that I won't be able to use it for the next 2 months? No, we have to book the gravity rooms in advance. Otherwise, we won't be able to get any. Booking for 2 months costs more than 100,000 points. That's nothing. If we can win the genius battle, this is just a small amount. Many elite students were going crazy. They hadn't expected that the originally plentiful gravity training room would be occupied by others at this time. They might not be able to use it for the next 2 months. And at such a critical moment, how could they bear it? Some of the elite students who had been watching the show from the sidelines, thinking that they wouldn't be affected, were now afraid. If this happened, they wouldn't be able to use the gravity chambers, and they might lose out in the upcoming genius battle. All of them were scared out of their wits. They rushed to the training tower's management office to book gravity training rooms. In the end, the originally plentiful gravity room was snatched up by the elite students. Some people were rich enough to order 5 rooms at once. Some people gritted their teeth and took out more than 100,000 points. Some people really did not have the money, so they could only team up with a few companions and buy it together. Some of them even took out loans from the school and used their privileges as elite students to obtain a large number of points to reserve a gravity training room. In just one day, hundreds of gravity training rooms had been swept clean, not leaving a single spot. The elite students who hadn't made a move yet and were still watching were completely scared out of their wits. There really wasn't a single gravity training room left. Even if they had the points, they wouldn't be able to buy one. In other words, they wouldn't be able to use the gravity training room for the next 2 months. Normally, it wouldn't be a big deal even if they didn't use the gravity training room for 2 months. But in 2 months, it would be the genius battle, and it was the critical time to strengthen one's martial arts. Without the help of the gravity training room, many elite students wouldn't be able to increase their strength, and this made many people go crazy. Gone. All the gravity training rooms are gone. Damn it. Why did this happen? Didn't they say the gravity training room was plentiful? Now they're telling me I can only use it in 2 months. It'll be too late by then. Those bastards are crazy. What's the use of reserving for 2 months? Some people even reserve 20 rooms. Are they planning to use them as toilets? They're occupying the toilet but not taking a shit. Is no one going to do anything? Hogging public resources like this is too much. A group of elite students who hadn't reserved a gravity training room were infuriated. They protested to the management, asking for them to be revoked. But it was useless, because this wasn't against the rules. The management couldn't immediately refuse the unreasonable request. So what if they're angry? They can't change the reality. It's time to wrap things up. Hearing this news, Xiaoping smiled faintly, and a glimmer of light flashed in his eyes. These were all his plans, which he had learned from some bad real estate businessmen in his previous life. In his previous life on Earth, a group of real estate speculators came to an area. First, they bought a portion of the houses and spread the news that the prices of the houses in the area would rise rapidly. In the beginning, only some people believed it and bought it. Most people were still skeptical. A small number of people snorted, saying how could the prices of such a rubbish place rise? They said it wouldn't rise in their lifetime. After a while, the group of real estate speculators spread the news again, saying that the prices of houses had doubled and there were only a dozen houses left. If they missed this opportunity, there wouldn't be any more in the future, and the prices would rise tenfold. When the locals heard this, they were scared half to death. They found out that the prices of houses had indeed risen, and there weren't many houses left. Every single one of them rushed to buy houses. These people came one after another, creating a wave of panic. The prices of the houses in the entire area were pushed to an extremely high level. Everyone was afraid that the prices would continue to rise. The group of real estate speculators took advantage of this time to sell the houses they had obtained at the beginning. They bought low and sold high, making a huge profit. They toyed with everyone in the palm of their hands. Now, Xiaoping was using the same method. He purposely made everyone reserve the gravity training room, turning the originally rare gravity training room into a rare one. Most people couldn't use it. Then there was only one way to go, and that was to raise the price. Xiaoping immediately spread the news to the other elite students. He said he had 20 gravity training rooms for elite students who needed to train, but it would cost 300 points per hour. This price was 3 times higher than before. What? Chapter 554. 300 points per hour? You might as well go rob me. Hearing this news, an elite student cursed loudly. He looked at Xiaoping as if he was a madman. Previously, the gravity room only cost 100 points per hour. But in the hands of this kid, it had become 300 points per hour. The price had increased by 3 times. If this wasn't robbery, then what would be? If this kid could sell it at 3 times the original price, he could probably earn a few million points. This was clearly robbery. He wanted to get rich overnight. The group of elite students glared at this black-hearted businessman. Thinking about how this kid could earn so many points, their eyes turned green. If you don't want it, then forget it. I'll raise the price tomorrow. If you don't want it, then 500 points per hour. Xiaoping was very calm. He didn't care about this poor elite student. Even if this kid couldn't afford it, someone else would. Moreover, some elite students just happened to be in need. They were at a bottleneck in their cultivation. Without the gravity room, they probably wouldn't be able to break through. Still rising. Tomorrow, 500 points per hour? Many people were completely dumbfounded. They thought Xiaoping was completely crazy. How could he come up with such a price? Not satisfied with 3 times the original price, now he wanted to raise it by 5 times. Did he really think their points came from the wind? Xiaoping, you black-hearted businessman. You want to raise the price by 500 points? You must be crazy to earn money. Whoever would agree to use 500 points to buy the right to use your gravity room is an idiot. An elite student shouted. He didn't believe that anyone would buy the right to use Xiaoping's gravity room. Raising the price by 5 times in one go was crazy. That's right. You're not the only one with a gravity room. Another elite student sneered. Others have also reserved gravity rooms. We can totally rent them. They definitely won't be as black-hearted as you. That's right. Let your gravity room rot in your hands. Who would fall for a black-hearted businessman like you? Some elite students gritted their teeth. They definitely wouldn't spend so many points to buy the right to use Xiaoping's gravity room. They thought that there were other options. There was no need to hang on to Xiaoping. Whatever. Xiaoping waved his hand, telling these elite students to scram. He was very calm. Many elite students left angrily. They went to find other people who had reserved the gravity training room, wanting to rent it for 100 points per hour. However, they were disappointed. This group of people refused to lend it to them. They all said that they would only be willing to rent it for 300 points per hour. 300 points per hour? You're fucking Xiaoping. You're robbing. Do you have any humanity? Earning so much? Aren't you afraid of having a son? We're classmates. 300 points per hour, and the price is 3 times higher than before. Do you think it's appropriate for you to state such a ridiculous price? The group of elite students cursed loudly. They hadn't expected that this group of people who were supposed to be their companions would also show signs of wanting to cheat them of a large number of points. Their original expectations were completely shattered. The people who were in the same group as them actually stood on Xiaoping's side. That was then, and this is now. That's right. We booked it for 2 months and lost over 100,000 points. That's right, that's right. If we don't make some money now, are you going to cover our losses? Ping. Ping ping ping, as well as they wanted. Well as said, they as they could. Piss off if you don't have the money. Don't use the gravity room. Go for a run or a lift. That's perfect for poor people like you. When they saw Xiaoping suddenly raise the price by 5 times, they immediately knew Xiaoping's scheme. He clearly wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to make a fortune. Their eyes lit up. They thought they'd found a way to make a fortune when they saw Xiaoping suddenly raise the price by 5 times. After all, they had spent more than 100,000 points to reserve a gravity training room. They had thought that it was all for naught, but now it seemed that not only had it not been for naught, but they had even made a huge profit. They immediately became excited, and their blood boiled. If the price was raised by 5 times, they could sell it for more than 700,000 points. That would be 5 to 600,000 points. They wouldn't be able to make such a fortune even if they worked for years. But now that it was within their reach, no fool would give it up. Even if they couldn't make 5 times the profit, 3 times the profit would still be a big one. Therefore, even if they knew about Xiaoping's scheme, they wouldn't expose it. They wouldn't undermine him because they had vested interests and were already standing on the same boat as Xiaoping. Shameless to the extreme. Have you forgotten? Xiaoping is our enemy. How did you all become like this? Have you forgotten our friendship just for a few points? We're classmates. Won't you have a conscience if you earn this kind of black-hearted money? We should unite. Don't let that black-hearted Xiaoping drive a wedge between us. That's right. We should take out the gravity room like before. Many elite students tried their best to dissuade them, hoping that they'd realize their mistakes and not be blinded by greed. Scram! That group of people had only said one word. They thought their glib tongue could make them give up hundreds of thousands or even millions of points. These people were either idiots or harboring evil intentions. They were all adults. How could they be so naive? Bastards! The elite students' faces darkened. They clenched their fists, the veins on their foreheads popping. They didn't expect that these classmates who had a good relationship with each other would suddenly change their attitudes in the face of profit. They were no longer united against a common enemy. The group that had formed an alliance to deal with Xiaoping had immediately fallen apart. There was even a gap between them. Even if this matter ended, they would probably never be on good terms again. Friendship? Xiaoping sneered. This kind of thing was too illusory. He couldn't deny that in this world, there existed friendship that transcended life and death. There existed friendship that could sacrifice everything for others. However, 99% of people didn't have this kind of thing. At least, the people present didn't have this kind of thing. They were just ordinary people who would betray others for a bit of profit. They didn't betray others before because the profit wasn't enough. With tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of points in front of them, who could guarantee that their temperament wouldn't change? Even though those people spoke in a dignified manner, saying that they had a guilty conscience, if they had their own gravity room, they would benefit from it. They would be able to earn hundreds of thousands or even millions of points, which would definitely be a different story. It was similar to those who speculated in real estate. Those who didn't own a house would complain about the high prices. However, those who owned a house might not say it, but they were secretly happy in their hearts. The higher the prices, the better. This was human nature. We'll definitely win this time. Chapter 555. Damn it, these black-hearted businessmen. Their hearts are as black as Xia Ping's. I couldn't see their true colors before, but now I can. You really can't judge a book by its cover. Bastards in human form, I hope we can unite. As long as we unite and don't go to the gravity room, we can endure for 2 months. Those guys will naturally collapse. That's right, these bastards can only endure for 2 months. Sooner or later, they will all collapse and lose hundreds of thousands. These bastards are going to die. Many elite students were cursing and swearing, using vicious words to curse this group of black-hearted elite students. They actually wanted to earn black-hearted money at this time. They were simply shameless to the extreme. But in just half a day, this so-called gang immediately collapsed. Some people couldn't wait that long. There were only 2 months left until the genius battle. In these 2 months, every second was a race against time. They couldn't waste any time. Some people could endure because they didn't need the gravity room at all. It was easy to talk. Some people couldn't endure because their cultivation had reached a bottleneck. If they didn't borrow the gravity room, they wouldn't be able to break through. Moreover, although 300 points per hour was a lot, in fact, they didn't even need to rent it for a day. Just 1 or 2 hours per day was enough. Therefore, it was only 500 or 600 points. For elite students, it was only a small number. It wasn't unbearable. Although there weren't many people like this, just a few of them were enough to make many elite students' mental defenses collapse. This was the so-called 1,000-mile dam collapses because of an ant's nest. Soon, this group of elite students completely collapsed. No one wanted to resist anymore. I want it. 2 hours. I want 3 hours a day, at least for a month. I'll fight anyone who dares to compete with me. Quite a few elite students stepped forward to purchase the rights to use the gravity room from those black-hearted merchants. The price was 300 points per hour. Immediately, a group of people laughed so hard that their eyes almost disappeared. How could there be such a good business in this world? Damn it! Everyone's eyes turned green, but they couldn't stop them. After all, these people were at a bottleneck. If they tried to stop them, wouldn't they be making a mortal enemy of them? In just one day, the crowd was so excited that more than half of it had been reserved. It was a situation where the supply could not meet the demand. But even so, most people still couldn't use it, and the supply couldn't meet the demand. The rest of the students who hadn't sold the right to use the gravity room saw this and knew what it meant to be a rare commodity. They didn't hesitate to raise the price 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, and after a few days, the price had risen to 10 times. Some people clamored for a price of 1,000 points per hour, and they would not sell it even if it was 1 point less. Compared to a week ago, Xia Ping's offer of 5 times the price was simply too cheap. 1,000 points an hour. This is daylight robbery. No, it's worse than daylight robbery. Previously, when that black-hearted Xia Ping said 500 points per hour, I thought he was black-hearted. Now, someone is offering 1,000 points per hour. Damn, I actually think Xia Ping's price is very cheap. It's only half, how can it not be cheap? Don't think that the current price is very high. Someone said that if it continues like this, the price might still rise. It might even rise to 10,000 points per hour. Fuck his grandpa, 10,000 points per hour for a month. Why doesn't he go to heaven? Does he really think this is some dragon meat or phoenix blood? This is not how you scam people. This is just an exaggeration. Even if it doesn't reach 10,000 points per hour, it might reach 2,000, or even 3,000 points per hour. That's very possible. Bastards, this group of black-hearted bastards who only see money. Sooner or later, they'll have a son who will lose his virginity. Many elite students were scared silly. This was the first time they had seen the power of the price increase. It was so high that they began to doubt their lives. Who would have thought that the right to use the gravity room would rise to such an extent? Some elite students actually didn't want to enter the gravity room to cultivate. Instead, they saw that there was a profit to be made. Instantly, they became envious and raised the price to buy the right to use the gravity room. Then, they would sell it at a higher price, buying low and selling high. However, there were also some students who just needed the gravity room to cultivate. They were also afraid that the price would continue to rise. Therefore, they gritted their teeth and bought the right to use the gravity room no matter how expensive it was. The problem was that by doing so, the price continued to rise. There was no way to stop it. At this time, everyone had gone crazy. They had almost lost their minds. Some wanted to buy low and sell high to make a profit. Some just needed it, and some were loan sharks, adding fuel to the fire. As for the instigator, Xia Ping could no longer remember him. Xia Ping took advantage of the frenzy of the crowd and quickly sold the 19 gravity chambers in his possession at the price of 500 points per hour. This price was far from 10 times the price. It was simply too cheap. A group of people rushed to buy without hesitation. It was as if they didn't see money as money. Some people even looked down on Xia Ping for selling so cheaply. At this time, no one remembered their grudge with Xia Ping. No one mentioned going against him. They just wanted to buy the gravity rooms at a low price and sell them to make a fortune. Xia Ping's expression was very calm. Although he didn't sell them at the highest price, he still made 5 times the original price. So far, he had earned more than 13 million points. Even among the core students, not many had such points. It was enough to buy anything in the school. It could be said that with such a simple scheme, all the points that those elite students had painstakingly earned were all plundered into his hands, and he made a huge fortune. A group of elite students were all working for him. Who's the smart one and who's the idiot? It's hard to say. Xia Ping didn't feel it was a pity that he couldn't sell them at the highest price. In fact, selling them at the highest price was just a fantasy. At that time, no one would be stupid enough to buy them at a high price. At that time, even if there was such a price, no one would be able to sell them. It was better to sell them at a slightly lower price and earn 5 times the original price. That was the real benefit. Without the benefit in hand, it would only be a pavilion in the air, a flower in the mist and the moon in the water. Most importantly, such a foul behavior would sooner or later alarm the higher-ups of the school. At that time, an administrative order would come down and all the people who tried to create hype would die. It's time to quit and focus on cultivation. Xia Ping was very calm. He had already sold all the gravity rooms he had. All that was left was to sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. Chapter 556. Another week passed. The sale of the gravity room was in full swing, and the price kept rising. It even reached 5,000 points per hour, which was 50 times more than before. At this time, the elite students were completely crazy. They didn't care whether it was worth the price or not. They only knew that if they could sell the right to use the gravity room, they would be able to make a fortune. They wouldn't have to worry about the expenses for a few years. How could there be such a profitable business in the world? There was one right now. However, the price of 5,000 points per hour was too shocking. It was so high that people could only look up to it in admiration. Many people who needed it couldn't afford it at all and flinched away. No, it can't go on like this. 5,000 points per hour? Are you kidding me? This is scarier than robbery. I worked so hard to complete the missions and earn points, and now they're all taken away by these black-hearted businessmen. If this goes on, we won't be able to train anymore. Report this to the school authorities. This is a public resource of the school, not a toy for these rich students. Therefore, these people immediately reported to the school authorities and complained about the black-hearted businessmen. During the appeal period, some people fought for the right to use the gravity room, and a few students were sent to the hospital. This incident completely alarmed the school authorities. They also knew about it. They didn't expect that someone would sell the right to use the gravity room and raise the price to such a high. They investigated for a few days and were shocked. If this continued, many elite students would go bankrupt. This would cause serious problems for the school. Because in order to sell, many students even borrowed from loan sharks. The interest was very high, and if they couldn't pay it back, there would be serious consequences. Some people might even die, and it would affect the whole school. This is crazy. In just a few weeks, the price went from 100 points to 5,000 points. Foul atmosphere, too foul atmosphere. Borrowing money from others, is he still a student? If this continues, who else will use the gravity room? The gravity room is for people to train in, not for publicity. Deal with it immediately. Otherwise, who knows how far these people will go before they stop. A group of school authorities cursed. They realized the seriousness of the matter and immediately dealt with it with a heavy fist. They ordered that no one was allowed to sell the right to use the gravity room. Violators would be punished immediately, and the more serious ones would be expelled from the school. At the same time, they also stipulated that each person could only reserve one gravity training room in the future, and they could only reserve it for one day. The price was also fixed. It could not exceed 500 points per hour. Anything above that would be ineffective. As soon as these rules were announced, the price of the gravity room was hit hard. Immediately, the price of the gravity chamber plummeted. It dropped from 5,000 points to 500 points, and soon, it even dropped to 100 points. The price returned to its original point. Many people howled in grief. They had suffered great losses, because some of them had bought the goods at the highest price, thinking that they could make a huge profit. However, who would have thought that the school would make such a rule? According to the current price, they had lost more than 90% of their money and were almost bankrupt. The school leaders have done a good job. This is very satisfying. This is too satisfying. I've suffered a great loss to these opportunistic bastards. Who asked them to hype things up, and now we don't even have a gravity chamber to use. This is a good time to teach them a lesson. This is great. No one can be fired in the future. Let's see if they still dare to do it. Many elite students felt extremely comfortable. Previously, they had been scammed by these black-hearted merchants. Each of them had to pay an extremely high price just to use the gravity room once. All the points that they had worked so hard to earn were lost inside. Needless to say, how painful it was. Now that they saw the school deal with this matter with a heavy fist, causing those people who were trying to hype things up to no avail, they all felt extremely happy. They felt that this was something to be happy about. Leader, we protest. That's right. We spent hundreds of thousands of points. It can't be gone just like that. This is clearly robbery. They burned our money. This is too much. There must be a compensation agreement. Otherwise, we will go crazy and cause trouble. That's right. I suggest the school pay to take back my gravity room rights. The elite students who had tried to speculate turned green. They tried to protest, wanting the school to compensate for their losses. Some even tried to go against the school leaders, smashing, robbing, and making the matter worse. However, it was useless. Under the school's high pressure, any objection was rebutted. Some people who tried to smash, rob, and burn were directly locked up by the school. If they dared to continue causing trouble, they would be expelled from Yanhuang University. Damn it! Seeing the school's high pressure and iron-blooded methods, the group of people immediately shriveled. They no longer dared to make a sound. They could only silently swallow this loss and admit that they had lost hundreds of thousands of points. After all, if they were really expelled from Yanhuang University, the loss would not only be hundreds of thousands of points. Even millions of points would not be enough to make up for it. Even their reputation would be ruined, and no martial arts organization would dare to take them in. This is the result of being greedy. You always want to earn more, but you don't know how to choose. If you don't give up, you won't gain anything. Xia Ping also knew about this matter. However, he did not feel sorry for these greedy people at all. They only had themselves to blame. Fortunately, he had sold the gravity rooms in time and avoided a disaster. Otherwise, the gravity rooms would have been ruined in his hands, and no one would have paid a high price for them. It could be said that he was the biggest winner this time. He had earned more than 10 million points, which he plundered from countless elite students. Who knew how many good things he could buy? If other elite students knew about this, they would probably go crazy. I'm about to break through to the sixth sky of Martial Master. In the past few weeks, Xia Ping did not care about the outside world. He had been training hard in the gravity room. At the same time, he had the water moon grass, energy stones, and other treasures to help his cultivation progress rapidly. He had tempered his body, and the true essence in his body increased crazily. He had already broken through 7 or 8 meridians. In a few days, he would be able to completely break through 12 meridians and reach the sixth sky of Martial Master. Once I reach the sixth sky of Martial Master, I will have the power to compete with advanced Martial Masters. Even in the battle of geniuses, I will have a chance to advance. Xia Ping clenched his fists. He had already set his sights on the battle of geniuses. Another day passed. Xia Ping came to the training tower as usual. This time, he felt that he had already reached the peak of the fifth sky of Martial Master. Maybe he could break through to the sixth sky of Martial Master today. Chapter 557. Aya, isn't this senior brother Qindong intercepting me here? Are you going to treat me to a meal? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. He could see that the leader of this group of elite students was the elite student Qindong, an expert at the 7th level of the Martial Master realm. Treat my ass. Qindong gritted his teeth. Because of this incident, he had lost hundreds of thousands of points. It was a huge loss. He had lost several years of savings and even owed usury. Many people wanted to settle the score with him. It could be said that he was a complete pauper. Even his girlfriend had abandoned him because of this incident, but this guy actually wanted him to treat him to a meal. It was simply a dream. If you don't want to treat me, then forget it. A good dog doesn't block the way. Xia Ping waved his hand and was about to walk in. Stop right there. Qindong shouted angrily, don't play dumb here. How dare you pretend to be innocent here? If it wasn't for you maliciously hyping up this incident and leading us into this trap, we wouldn't have suffered such heavy losses this time. Some people even went bankrupt and couldn't even pay for tomorrow's food expenses. You must give me an explanation today. Many people glared at Xia Ping. All of them had suffered heavy losses in this incident and lost an unknown amount of money. Since the school couldn't compensate them, they naturally had to find someone who should compensate them. As the main culprit, Xia Ping naturally wouldn't shirk his duty. An explanation? Xia Ping sneered. You didn't give me an explanation when you earned money. Now that you've lost money, you want me to give you an explanation? You want me to give you an explanation? Who is going to give me an explanation? He was very unhappy. A group of paupers who had lost all their money actually wanted him to give them an explanation. It seemed like they wanted him to compensate these people for their losses. If he really lost money, wouldn't the other elite students flock to him? No matter how much money he had, it wouldn't be enough. Moreover, this group of people really thought that he was a pushover. They thought that he could be bullied casually and that they could extort him successfully. Chen Dong sneered. You're still pretending here. Tell me, how much money did you earn this time? I've asked around, and you sold it for 5 times the original price. It can't be faked. Through simple mathematical calculations, you've earned at least 13 million points this time. Shouldn't you compensate us for our losses after earning so much? If it weren't for us, how could you have earned so many points? We also have a share of the profits. He had already investigated this matter thoroughly and knew how many points Xia Ping had earned. The other elite students also looked at Xia Ping with envy. They had suffered heavy losses this time. They had lost at least hundreds of thousands of points. Some had even lost hundreds of thousands or millions of points. But this kid had earned more than 10 million points for nothing. The difference was too great. They felt it was unfair, so they wanted to get a share of the profits and extort a sum of money to make up for the deficit. Indeed, I've earned so much, but this is based on my own ability. It's none of your business. Xia Ping cast a sidelong glance at the group of elite students. Damn it, it really is true. We've all lost hundreds of thousands of points, but this guy has earned more than 10 million points. This is so infuriating. How can he earn so much? God is so unfair. If this kid had left a little later, he would have definitely lost a few million. The gravity room would have been ruined in his hands, but he ran too fast. This money is all black-hearted money. It's all stolen from us. The group of elite students gritted their teeth. Although they had already expected it, hearing Xia Ping admit it made all of them go crazy with jealousy. They wanted to rob all of Xia Ping's wealth and take it for themselves. It's good that you admit it. Chen Dong looked at Xia Ping sinisterly and shouted, hurry up and hand over all the money you've earned to make up for our deficit. Otherwise, you'll lose your virginity after earning so much black-hearted money. You'll suffer retribution. He cursed them viciously. Retribution? A group of stray dogs who have lost so much money that they don't even have pants left want money from me to make up for the deficit? You don't even know how to spell the word death. If you want money from me, kneel down immediately. If you kneel until I'm comfortable, I'll give you tens of thousands of points. Xia Ping looked at these people with a cold smile. What did you say? Hearing this, the group of elite students were so angry that their lungs were about to explode. They didn't dare to believe what they had heard. Bastard, how dare a junior talk to a senior like this? Do you know how much you're worth? An elite student suddenly flew into a rage. With a boom, a huge airflow came out of his body, spurting out from his 108,000 pores. With his body as the center, a terrifying aura was produced, causing the surrounding students to fly out. He displayed the power of a martial master in the 6th heaven. With a slap, he clenched his hand and condensed his chi into a saber. It contained a destructive vitality and slashed down at Xia Ping in the air. It was as if the earth was going to be split in half. Xia Ping didn't even look at it. He just slapped out with his palm. Immovable Buddha's palm. The power of this palm was many times stronger than before. It already contained a hint of immovable 8 directions and like Buddha's heart. The power was unparalleled, like a Buddha Vajra. His palm contained Buddha's light, solemn and dignified, with the power to subdue demons. Dong! The elite student let out a shrill scream. His saber technique was completely broken. He was smashed into pieces with a single slap. Even the qigong on his body was torn apart in a second. His whole body was firmly smashed on his chest by this slap. A clear palm print was left on his chest, and his body was sent flying. He flew hundreds of meters in the air before smashing into the ground with a thud. More than 10 bones in his body were broken, and his internal organs were severely injured. He was lying on the ground like a turtle. Ah! The elite student screamed again and again. His face was red. He was ashamed and angry to the extreme. He was sent flying by a junior brother with a slap. He was beaten until he was lying on the ground like a turtle in front of so many students. This was simply a loss of face. You don't have the ability to stand up for others. Do you understand how I feel when I beat people up? Senior, you're overestimating yourself. Today, I'll teach you one thing. Don't be arrogant in school in the future. When you see me, you have to tuck your tail between your legs. Xia Ping looked down at the elite student. Otherwise, I'll beat up people like you every time I see them. I'll beat them until even your girlfriend can't recognize you. Do you understand? He clenched his fists. Pooh! The elite student couldn't take it anymore. He was so angry that his lungs felt like they were going to explode. He coughed up a mouthful of blood, and his eyelids turned white. He actually fainted from anger. Chapter 558. Bastard, a junior dares to do such a vicious thing to a senior? Just because he has some strength, he even dares to humiliate a senior. This is too much. Let's attack together and kill him. This is a provocation to our senior. This is a humiliation to our dignity. If we don't destroy his prestige, who will still listen to us? In an instant, the group of elite students immediately became furious. Each of them used their qigong and controlled the airflow. In an instant, they surrounded Xia Ping with a murderous look. All of them were experts at the fifth heaven of martial master and were proficient in king-level qigong. Their strength was tyrannical. When they joined forces, their qigong resonated with each other, forming a terrifying aura that crushed over. Even martial arts experts would be suppressed under this aura, and they would be scared out of their wits. Among them, the fastest one was Qin Dong. With a clang, he pulled out a big saber in his hand and immediately a purple flame emerged from his body. This flame contained a terrifying destructive power. The surrounding students were all shocked. This flame saber was extremely powerful and contained a killing intent like the autumn wind. Once it hit the enemy, it could instantly take away all the vitality of the enemy. This huge saber chi descended, tearing the air apart. The air vibrated thousands of times, and the momentum was astonishing. Even a small mountain would be completely cut under such saber chi. You're courting death. Xia Ping's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. The pure yang immortal incantation in his body began to operate. Feeling the attack of countless forces, the hell golden crow cells in his body trembled. The true essence in the depths of his dantian seemed to be greatly stimulated. It became stronger and stronger, like boiling lava, flowing between his meridians. Clapless palm. He slapped out with his palm, and countless palm shadows appeared in the void. Even each palm print contained unparalleled power, like an ancient giant, able to uproot mountains and fill the sea. Dong! This palm hit Qin Dong's body fiercely, instantly smashing his qigong defense. The tyrannical palm force penetrated every corner of his body. Ah! Qin Dong screamed, and his body flew backward, smashing into a group of students behind him. 5 or 6 people were sent flying, colliding with each other, and their bones were shattered. What? How can this kid be so strong? Even an expert at the 7th heaven of martial master is no match for him. Did he take drugs? How can he be so strong? This kid is only a 5th division martial master. How could he be so strong? What energy art does he cultivate? The surrounding elite students were all incomparably shocked. Their hearts twitched violently. One had to know that Qin Dong was an expert of the 7th heaven of martial master. He was already an advanced martial master. Even among the elite students, they could be considered as decent experts. Against a freshman, it would be easy for them to deal with him. That was what they all thought before. But now, Senior Qin Dong was as weak as a baby in front of Xia Ping. With a single palm strike, he was sent flying and fell to the ground, coughing out blood non-stop. His body twitched non-stop like a dead dog, unable to speak at all. Die! Xia Ping rushed forward like a tiger in a flock of sheep. His fists and kicks exploded with the might of a ferocious beast, bombarding those elite students. Bastard! Instantly, the group of elite students were all incomparably shocked. Who would have thought that this brat would be so ferocious as to dare to attack so many of them? Bang bang bang! Suddenly, the group of elite students was caught off guard. They were hit one after another, their energy vibrating. At this moment, with Xia Ping as the center, they were sent flying in all directions. They flew for dozens of meters and finally smashed into the ground, creating a deep pit. One by one, they fell to the ground like turtles. They could not help but spit out blood, dyeing the ground red. Too strong. Too strong. This kid just became an elite student not long ago. No wonder he destroyed the Windchaser bandits, killed the entire Unable gang, and even killed Scorpion 13. This is too terrifying. This kind of strength is enough to sweep away all enemies. He is already so strong now. When he advances to the peak of the Martial Master realm, who can be his opponent? This battle had also alarmed many elite students in the training tower. They all came out to watch, and they also saw Xia Ping display his invincible might, easily taking care of Qin Dong's group, beating them until they were lying on the ground like turtles, unable to move. They could not help but clench their fists. Previously, there were many rumors about Xia Ping, but they thought that they were all exaggerated. To have such a battle record, perhaps it was because he used high-tech martial arts techniques and used all kinds of schemes. It was not because this kid was strong in martial arts. But now that they saw Xia Ping's battle, they were completely shocked. These elite students realized that even in martial arts, he was above many elite students. No one could underestimate him. You want to find trouble with me with this little ability? Aren't you afraid that others will laugh their heads off? Xia Ping looked down at Qin Dong and the others. You all have no ability, but you think of some crooked ways. You want to stop me from entering the training tower and extort money. Stand up. If you have the guts, stand up and try to be arrogant again. Let me see what kind of 3 heads and 6 arms you have. How dare you extort me? He clenched his fists, making cracking sounds. What the hell? The elite students next to him had strange expressions. This kid did not give them any face at all. It was clearly a slap in the face in public. He did not give these people a chance to step down at all. The faces of Qin Dong and the others were blue and purple. They were extremely sullen. They had been beaten down by Xia Ping in public without being able to fight back. This in itself was a great humiliation. Now, they were humiliated by Xia Ping's words, which made them unable to step down. They were so angry that they even wanted to kill Xia Ping now. But before Xia Ping could continue to speak, a deep voice came from the depths of the training tower. It was vast and majestic like thunder, buzzing. Kid, you are the rumored genius Xia Ping. You are indeed arrogant, but you have some ability. But do you know what too hard is easy to break means? You don't give people face and humiliate your seniors in public. Is this your duty as a junior? Do you know what it means to respect your seniors? You are so arrogant as a freshman. If you wait a few years and advance to the master realm, won't you be so arrogant? I'm afraid you won't even care about the king. As your senior, I have to teach you a lesson. You should know your limits. Get over here.